All right, guys, we're back with another one. So, nationalism or supremacy? Is it nationalism or is it supremacy? That's the question for this stream. Got a few things I want to share with you guys. Of course, I want you guys to chime in, tell me what you think, and let's review this. Let's go over this. Starting out, received this comment the other day, and I found it to be very interesting, very intriguing, and worthy enough to basically have a stream over it. Of course, I'm going to add some other, details to this as well. Some other videos I feel, or clip, I should say, that I feel was worthy enough. Let's check this out. Let me zoom this so you guys, make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, here we go. Received this comment from this individual a couple days ago. Screenshot it. It was like, oh, okay, I think I can actually kind of, expand on this a little bit. Impromptu live. Of course, I already read the comment, but I thought, instead of making a little video, why not just jump up here live and provide my commentary for it? And of course, you guys can chime in. That's the whole point of this endeavor here. And this individual left this comment under one of my more recent videos that was discussing. Let me double check what the title of it was. It was They Fear the Future, Part 1, because I feel like it's gonna be part, 60, 70, 100. Like it, I'm gonna basically expand upon this specific subject a lot in the future, the near future, okay, distant future, etc. Because this is a constant theme we see here, where when they talk about they're against, race mixing, they're against, interracial, there's only one specific type of pairing that they are against. Okay. And we all know what that is, right? So, unlike other people, this channel, my goal here is to build basically a how do I want to say this? Build a library. Build a library, have a catalog of videos, reliable information that mulattoes can have access to learn about mulatto history, our plight, our people, our existence, our destiny. This is the purpose of this. Yeah, so let's get right into this. Let me get into this comment you guys see on the screen right here. It says here, I've been quite busy, so haven't had the chance to reply till now. It's an interesting point that you make. However, there are some logical contradictions in your framework I can point out. I'll use syllogism. I can't even pronounce this. Syllogism and basic concepts of formal logic to break it down. Premise 1, taking the standard definition of white nationalism. If a person is a quote unquote white nationalist, then they are concerned with preserving the white race by opposing any form of interracial mixing. As such, mixing would dilute racial purity and threaten the preservation of a white nation. Right. So, let me lay this out. The guy here, he's basically saying I should change up my kind of words, right? The terminology I'm using. Call it accurately. Call it white supremacy. Don't say white nationalism. What it's synonymous, right? And we can see now how they're basically rebranding their movement per se to be more acceptable to the public, right? Patriotism, heritage, right? What else? What else do you want me to say? Those are the more popular ones, but they're rebranding, they're repackaging their structure to fit for general consumption, to fit for the public eye, right? And it's all the same shit. It's all the same shit, as you say here, like with preserving white purity, but they're not about preserving white purity. They're about preserving hegemony. They know the mulatto males will not bow down and lick their boot. That's the job that the dark skin, dark brown skin, whatever, the Bantu males, they serve and suck the Caucasian males. Okay. You see that all over sports. It doesn't matter what league, what professional league, it does not matter. If it's boxing, if it's UFC, combat sports, if it's the NFL, which is notorious, okay, the NBA, it does not matter. The dark skinned black male, dark brown skin, whatever the hell they are, okay, they will serve the Caucasian male, right? But the wild card that's injected in there is that mulatto. That's what they fear. They fear the mulatto. So they're not against race mixing. They're not about establishing purity for their nation because they gotta, they're mixing in with all these Latinos, they're mixing in with all these Asians and all these Native Americans, whatever. It's not about purity. They don't care. It's not about purity. It's about maintaining hegemony. They know the dark skinned blacks will serve them, but they look at the mulatto. They're like, okay, this individual is a competitor male. This is what it is. This is what it is. The more you guys listen to me, you're going to figure this out because I'm just basically scratching the surface of it right now. We're going to get more into this. He puts premise 2. These individuals, however, are specifically opposed to black and white interracial relationships. Interesting to note the individual here. When you look at their basically syntax and how they structure their whole, thesis here, right? This whole whatever he put here, he capitalizes black. I don't have a highlighter here on my cursor or whatever and mouse, but he capitalizes black, but he undercases white, which is very significant to kind of know their headspace, where they're at, their thinking, right? So he puts here, however, are specifically opposed to black and white interracial relationships. They're only opposed to it if the female is white and the male is black. Then they have an issue with it. If it's a white male and he's got his black concubines, females, okay, they have nothing to say about it. You go to all their social media, they say nothing. They say nothing. It's only when it's a white female that's with a black male, then they whine and cry about it, right? Says particularly the existence of mulattoes, right? Mulatto males, not the females. Military age males who are competitors, okay? Critically important to understand. But they do not express the same level of opposition to white individuals mixing with other races, such as Asians and Latinos, which I've already alluded to and already said. Of course not. Of course not. They have no issue, right? But I'm just saying, even if it's a white guy with a black, which I saw earlier today, I was driving around town where I'm at. I saw a white guy, whatever, with a, black female, dark skin, all that. Yeah, they have nothing to say about that in their little community. I'm not talking about the black community, talking about the white community. They have nothing to say when the white guy brings Keisha along to the party. Nothing to say. See, because it's only an issue when it's the white female who has a black male partner. Then they whine and cry. All the incels over on X and all the others, blogosphere, whatever platforms. Then they whine and cry. It's an agenda. It's not an agenda when it's a white guy, right, with all these Asian women and Latina women. It's not an agenda then. It's only an agenda when it's a black male that has a white female partner. Then it's an agenda. Then it's a conspiracy. Then there's a magical little Jew behind the scenes orchestrating it. When you deal with these individuals, it's a power struggle that they're trying to articulate. They're very uncomfortable with the reality that the mulattoes are not going to bend the knee and lick their fucking boot. That's what they have an issue with. So they'll, rationalize it with all these conspiracies. There's a Jew behind the scenes that's pushing all this stuff. No, you're in a very weak position now. Your own women are creating mutiny with you. And this is what we see. Let's continue on. These individuals, however, are specifically opposed to black and white interracial unions. Yes, Asian or Latinas, which they're perfectly okay with, even Arabs, throw the Arabs in there, East Indian, it doesn't matter. All the Commonwealth nations, you're in England, UK, Australia, it doesn't matter. They have nothing to say, right? If they're with Indians or Arabs or whatever the hell they're with. It's only when it's a black male who has equal access to everybody else. Then they whine and cry. Additionally, their reasoning includes a belief that mulatto males pose a unique threat because, quote unquote, we will not be underneath their boot. Now, he's quoting me because I stated that in my video. He's quoting me verbatim, which is fine. I say that in my video, and I say this right now, a couple minutes ago. This is precisely the situation. And we look at historically these military leaders like Hannibal and Carthage in Rome, John Zombie in Haiti, these other mulatto generals. Okay. Yeah, we know this even today now. Okay. The mulatto males who are competitors, they're not going to be underneath their fucking boot. That's the job of the dark skinned Bantu. They will serve the whites, as I've already said, with all the NFL, the football and basketball and all these sports, Deontay Wilder, all the dark skins, they will serve the whites. Okay. And then it's funny, they turn around and expect these light skins and these mulattoes to kiss black butt. I'm laughing. I'm like, look, you pro black bitches, man, you got to stay the fuck over there. I don't know why they come over here and they think they have some type of like leverage or reasoning. They're going to reason with me. I don't think so. I don't think so. I already know who your paymasters are, who you serve, period. If you're not breaking off any dollars, paying me, giving me money, there's nothing that needs to be said. You're not serving me in any capacity. Why are you even, I just block a lot of these people, especially over on TikTok. But TikTok, it's a pro-black, liberal, LGBT platform. So they're suppressing the hell out of me over there. So it's pointless. That's why I just come over here on YouTube. Like, fuck it. Let me talk my shit. Because on TikTok, it's basically pointless. Let me continue on. Suggesting that their concern is not only that racial mixing in general, but also about maintaining dominance over those they perceive as challenging their authority or status, which I've already alluded to in my other video I uploaded. They fear the future. See, they look at you as a potential political threat, is what it is. Because they know you won't, they know the dark-skinned Bantu is going to coon it up. Their job, they want to serve the whites. They just want white acceptance, right? And it's funny because the dark-skinned Bantu, like, they operate in, projection, in deception. But the main projection component, the dark-skinned Bantu will tell you, oh, you just wish you were white. You say you mulatto and you not a black because you wish you were a white, right? You just want to be accepted by them. And about it's all projection, right? We analyze their behavior. We're like, okay, yeah, okay, I got it. As long as if you pay me, it's all good. But if you're not paying me, I'll just block you. I don't deal with you. We've already heard all that crap. Some other guy over on X, or not X, on TikTok, whatever. I just block these characters. Like, I've been hopping up here doing live streams, doing videos for 2 years now. After a while, it gets redundant. It gets boring. Continuing to go back and forth. They're the same arguments with the same characters. They have a different username, different account, and all this crap. What's the point? Let's move on. Let's go on to something else that's more important. Like, you already know how they operate. Like, they're going to continue to project and gaslight. They want you to be in their group to help increase their numbers to serve them, while they turn around and serve their white masters. So you already understand the situation. It doesn't make sense to continue after all these years in the same path. Like, we have to move forward and do something else different and build upon that. And basically challenge the real opposition. This is the point here. Let me see where I left off. Targeting only black and white unions contradicts. Okay, apologize. Let me go back. Conclusion, he puts here. Let me find where I left off. Conclusion. Therefore, these individuals cannot be accurately described as quote unquote white nationalists. Why not? Why not? They've rebranded themselves anyways. That's, you look at even the guy, you have Donald Trump, who's, son-in-law is a Jew, even though it's his followers cry and complain about the Jews all fucking 24/7, blame the Jews for every damn thing. And that, you know, Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's, campaign manager, is married to his daughter, Ivanka Trump, is a Jew, Jared Kushner. So, and then you have Donald Trump's VP choice, Vance. He's married to an Indian woman, right? East Indian, right? So there's only one type of interracial relationships they're against. Okay. That's the point here. And they look at you mulatto males as a threat. Okay. Now, like I said, males. I'm going to be specific here. Males. They look at you males as a threat. Okay. This is all public. I mean, if you guys haven't figured this shit out yet, I don't know what you guys are doing. You guys are listening to 50 Cent and Lil Wayne and Kendrick Lamar, or the rest of the savages acting stupid. You guys haven't figured this stuff out yet. I don't know what you're doing. But we see, look at here, quote unquote white nationalists. Well, yeah, they've rebranded themselves. Okay. So yeah, it's synonymous. It's basically the same exact thing. Let's call it spade a spade. You talk about the black nationalists. Well, yeah, they're black supremacists. It's the same shit. Okay. Anybody who's pushing this black nationalism, a black nation, you got black nations all throughout Africa and the Caribbean. Why don't you take your black ass over there and be in your little black nation? But they're in America where it's minority black, but they're sitting here like a black nation or black nationalism and all this stuff. Like, these are black supremacists. Okay. It's the same crap. Like, they're pushing for blacks to be supreme over everybody. Okay, let's continue on. Because their selective opposition to interracial mixing, targeting only black, and again, he capitalizes black, undercases white, which is, for me, when I read this, very telling. Why don't you just undercase both of them or capitalize both of them? Why do you capitalize one versus the other? Very questionable. Just saying. Showing your hand here, which I'm going to get into some other individual who showed their hand recently. Let me continue on. Contradicts the fundamental goal of a white nationalist to preserve the purity of the white race by opposing all forms of racial mixing. They're not opposed to all. Like I said, they already have they want to include Asians, okay, and Latinos and everyone else, right? Their issue is the mulatto male. They look as a competitor, okay, a threat. And this is what it is, right? They're not against the whole racial mixing and the purity because they offer assimilation to certain populations. They allow into their group. Specifically, we see historically in the United States with Hispanics or Latinos, etc., whatever, right? But even with Asians, kind of more tricky, more difficult. You have Hapas, and Asians have strong genes. More so than not, their offspring, they look more Asian. Therefore, they'll basically, race is phenotype is what people say. So therefore, they'll be kind of casted, if I can say that, as an Asian individual. Even though their father, because most of those kind of interracial unions is Caucasian father, Asian mother. Therefore, they're going to be casted as Asian, even though they have a Caucasian father. Regardless, let me continue on. Puts here, furthermore, the focus on power dynamics, he quotes me again underneath their boot, right, indicates their ideology is driven more by anti, and he capitalizes black. So the guy is very telling, right? But I'm guessing he's older than me. He's not a millennial. He's one of these Xer guys or whatever. Pretty sure Xer, yeah. So pro-blackness there, which is very typical. Generational nuance, as J4 Conversations has eloquently explained, is what us younger folks tend to run into. This generational nuance where they're basically kind of entrenched in this pro-black ideology. So sentiment and fear of losing dominance rather than by the preservationist goals of white nationalism. Right. Yeah. Preserving what? No, preserving what? They want to preserve what? Are they threatened by Asian males? Apparently not. I mean, all the evidence is around you. They're not. Are they threatened by Arabic males? No. You don't see that here. Not in the States. Are they threatened by black males? No, because they give black males, millions of dollars. All these sports athletes and these hip hop artists like Kendrick Lamar, the rest of the savages, who are talking all their debauchery, and they're getting paid. They got white, record label, managers and all this crap, white audience that are paying for these blacks singing these songs and all this debauchery. You're like, how the hell are these guys getting paid money to talk all this shit? Like, and you guys are the minority in this nation. Like, what, 12% of the United States population is African American? It's a lot lower than that. You calculate all the mulattoes who are brainwashed and identify as a black. And you're sitting there like, okay, so they have a majority white audience. Even Drake and Kendrick, all these guys, like, so they don't look at black males as a threat. Like, they give all their money to these football players and all these basketball players. They buy their jerseys and buy their tickets and watch them. They don't look at them as a threat, right? Who are they threatened by? They're not threatened by the Arabic. We already said that because they're going to war with them all over the damn place. They're not threatened by Latinos because they offer an assimilation package, or what they've rebranded and call a pathway to citizenship. That's what the Biden administration calls, right? A pathway to citizenship. Basically, you can assimilate with us. Come on, SA, right? They just want access to the women. They want access to the Latina women, right? Okay, white male, Latin female, so they can just basically absorb the Latin group, okay, and increase the white group. That's the goal. And then with the Latino males who want their own women, they're basically like, look, that's fine, you can do that, but you got to work for us, right? They want them to be underneath them, to work for their companies, to help them with their infrastructure projects, right? Work for a white construction company, whatever industry, it doesn't matter. You pick. Work for them, help them build their society, their infrastructure, right? And stay in line. That's it. But they still want access to your women, right? To absorb you essentially. And then the same thing with Asian. So that they don't look at these other groups as a threat. These other male competitors. They don't look at them as a threat because they know, they see these dark-skinned males, they know they're just cooning it up with the big old smiley grin and hey, white massa. They're just happy to be around white people. See, that doesn't work with the mulatto man who's got some fucking balls and some pride and who knows who they are. That doesn't work with us. See, we want more. We're interested in power. See, but the dark-skinned Bantu, see, they just want to be around white folks. And then they're like, okay, yeah, I've made it. I'm good now. They like me. They pat me on the back, right? Like a Michael Jordan type of, whatever. Take your pick. Take your pick. It doesn't matter. Just naming him. This is the power dynamic that we see. This is what I'm saying. Contradiction, labeling individuals as white nationalists based solely on opposition of black and white mixing implies that this opposition is sufficient to classify them as such. A lot of academic word jargon, but we already know, okay, he capitalizes the B in black, undercases the white for, for white people. We kind of know what we're dealing with here, okay? However, a true white nationalist would be against all forms of interracial mixing to protect the white race's purity. No, I already stated. They offer a pathway to citizenship for the Hispanics. They'll include the Arabs. I had some white guy, in one of my comments. He's going to be listening. He listens and watches all my shit. And he basically was saying, well, Keanu Reeves is basically a white guy. He's got a little bit of Asian admixture. He's basically a white. That's the argument they always push. They need to increase their numbers. So, yeah, they'll include all these admixed, whites, quote unquote. When you look at Keanu Reeves, like, you clearly look, he doesn't look like an Anglo-Saxon. He doesn't have blonde hair, blue eyes, or, green eyes, etc. He clearly doesn't look like one of those individuals. But they will claim him when necessary. But it's the same strategy, political strategy, that the blacks use. They want to claim these multiracials and mulattoes. They'll try to claim a guy like Tiger Woods. When you look at Tiger Woods, he does not look like your quintessential black. You're Bantu, you're West African. Okay. Tiger Woods clearly looks Blasian, like a Naomi Osaka, the tennis player, clearly looks Blasian. But a lot of blacks will try to claim them. Okay, it's the same thing we see with a lot of these whites. They try to claim, so they try to play that game. Okay, we all see it, or some of us see it, not all of us. Let's see where I left off. I'm kind of all over the place, but I'll get back on track. Let me finish this off. The fact that these individuals are indifferent or even accepting of white people mixing with other races, such as Asians and Latinas, reveals a select bias, of course. And I've said that from day one. I've never hid that fact that, yeah, there of course is a bias. And they don't look at the mulatto female. They don't look at any females as a threat. As far as their hegemony being underneath their boot, they look at the males, the competitor males, as a threat. Specifically, guys like me, right? And other mulattoes, they look as a threat, right? But they can't stop us. There's too many of us now. And we have acquired too much power and too much dominance in any sphere we're in. Patrick Mahomes, Neil deGrasse Tyson, all these politicians, Obama, you name it, all over the place. There's too many of us who have too much power and influence now, and we're stomping our fucking feet. The fact that these individuals are indifferent or even accepting of white people mixing with other races, such as Asians and Latinas, reveals a selective bias. The bias, coupled with the concern about not being, he quotes me again, underneath their boot of mulatto males. And you highlight males because this is significant. As I've stated, they don't care about the females. Okay. They know a lot of the females. Okay. I was over on TikTok earlier, and shout out to the channel, the YouTube channel, Light Skin History, the YouTube channel. Shout out to him. He'll probably catch this live stream, and I really like the work he's doing. I like the way he frames the discussion. I really appreciate what he's bringing to the table, and yeah, shout out to him because and he's stated as well, we see how it's there's a lot of women who are more susceptible to falling into this trap of this virtue signaling social justice warrior trying to prove their blackness. And of course, their fan base are going to be nothing but blacks, dark skinned blacks, because you're their preference as long as you kiss their black butt, right? And I saw this over on TikTok earlier. Same shit. And this is a Dominican mulatto chick, and I'm looking at her and I look at her chat. She doesn't have no females up in her chat, all guys. And you look, she's very pretty mulatto chick from the DR. And she's American, but she's proud of her Dominican heritage. But see, they have to push this pro-black shit in order to kind of maintain some relevancy, but they're basically stuck with nothing but black males. Nobody else gives a shit about what they're doing, and they're more susceptible to falling in line with that social justice warrior stuff. I feel like with the guys, you're gonna look real weak out here. If you're a mulatto dude caping for the communita like that, this activism and social justice, you're gonna be looking real weak. If you're not about your business, bettering yourself, starting a family, being a productive individual out here, if you're on this pro-whack shit, because I was basically this past weekend trying to do some research, trying to look at who are these, pro-black biracials. And I just kind of biracial males. I just kind of couldn't really find any. I couldn't think of any at the moment. Even for the video, I'm going to share when I'm done reading this little thing I got up here. The video I kind of chopped up with the audio from this guy talking about, oh, these mulattoes, they use their white man's brain, against the white man, just crazy shit, right? And I tried to find it. I was thinking to myself, I wanted to put a clip, or excuse me, a photo up there. What biracial guy do I know of that's super pro black and that's like anti white? At the first, I kind of thought of like Colin Kaepernick, but I'm like, well, wait a second. Colin Kaepernick is not anti white. Like, I haven't heard it. So, I haven't heard any statement that he said publicly. Like, he's talked crap about the police, but he's never specifically said that he's anti-white. So I don't want to do him dirty like that. I'm not a fan of Colin Kaepernick. Clearly, he's basically paid off by these corporations to push an agenda. But I was thinking, like, I have to think for a minute to think of what biracial male that's so fucking confused, that's so pro-black, and they're half white, like you're a mulatto, and you're like, I thought of J. Cole. He was the next guy. So you saw that in the little clip I put up there. I put an image of J. Cole because I think he's publicly like talk shit in some of his rap songs, calling. So he was the first guy that pops up. I don't know anybody else. Like, I just feel like it's more so women that fall in line with that crap. And I did share an image of that one female whose father, she has a white father, passed away. She was talking crap. And we can say Michi X and all this stuff, but the whole point is I want to kind of create a balance. I didn't want to just, basically highlight the women and try to position it like that. I want to show that there's men and women, mulattoes, who fall in line with that crap. But I'm going to be real live right now telling you, I see more women who fall in line with that social justice warrior, trying to prove their blackness. They're in that pro-black shit. And, light skin history can attest to that. Like, he's stated that as well. And I agree. It's people are not going to like me saying that. Tough. I agree. I mean, and I feel like for them, it's easier for them to get a fan base. They can get a lot of black males to kind of kiss their butt. Light skin, mixed chick who's pro-black. Like, they can instantly like develop an audience like that quickly. Because there's just that huge like simp incel dark skin black dusty market where it's like if you're their preference, you're a mixed chick, just do the pro black shit, they'll follow you. They're there, they're waiting for you, right? You're their preference. So it's funny, I saw that on TikTok earlier, but it's funny, if we really examine these ladies, ultimately I can tell a lot of them, they don't really want those type of dudes. They really don't. But whatever's convenient for the moment. Let's see what we got. However, a true white nationalist would be against all forms of interracial mixing to protect white purity, right? White race, but rather maintain a racial hierarchy. Let me see where I left off. Got it. The bias coupled with their concern about being underneath the boots of mulatto males highlights that their primary motivation is not the preservation of the white race, but rather maintaining a racial hierarchy where black individuals and their offspring are kept subordinate. This selective opposition and focus on dominance create a contradiction, as it does not align with their core tenets of white nationalism, which should apply uniformly to all forms of racial mixing and not be driven by specific racial annexes. Yeah, very, academic language here. But the key thing is, as well as I saw where he capitalizes black and undercases white in all of this text he has here, which kind of shows the bias, right? But it's okay. It's okay for the black identified to have a bias, right? It's okay that, that's acceptable because that's normal and typical with a lot of mulattoes. They don't know where the hell they fit in. They don't know where they belong. They see a guy like me. They're like, oh shit, you hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings. You said something that made me uncomfortable. You're talking about my black baby daddy here. They look at a guy like me, like, I don't give a fuck. I do not care. I already see it for what it is. This is a situation of power. This is a power struggle. They look at mulattoes as being a utilitarian class of people. They look at you as being used. They want to use you. Are you happy with being used? You accept that? I don't fucking accept that at all. And I'm irritated by that. I'm disgusted and irritated with the fact that people look at me thinking that I'm going to just let them punk me. No, Not with a guy like me. And I'm nobody special. I never claimed I was. Not the prettiest, not the smartest. I say prettiest because there's a lot of Fruit Loops who follow me, and they seem to get this kind of idea that I'm out here positioning myself to be special or something. No, I never said I was special. No, I'm just a guy. Okay, you could say I got a chip on my shoulder. Okay, that's fine. You know, it could be a good thing. It'd be motivation, but I'm not special. I have to say that, reiterate that all the time because people kind of get it, you know, people get it mixed up, literally trying to act like, oh, you think you special out here. No, no, no. I'm just not like you people. I'm not like you people. Okay, the Bantus who serve the whites. I'm not like you. Okay, I'm not like you. I'm gonna tell you. I've been saying that before Kendrick. To be honest with you, before Kendrick with this little not like us bullshit. I've been saying this shit for the past 2 years. I don't know. You guys are late to the game. So he puts here by calling these individuals white nationalists. Oh, so now it's a we. We're on the same page. Okay, yeah. We capitalizes black, undercase is white. We're on the same team. Cool. Yeah, yeah. Sounds good. By these individuals, white nationalists inaccurately describe their primary ideology. Let me see. I think I left off somewhere. Apologize, guys. Yeah, apologize. By calling these individuals quote unquote white nationalists, right? Guess we're on the team now. I guess I don't know. We inaccurately describe their primary ideological focus, which is not on preserving the white race. You've been saying this the past other paragraphs you put here. Yeah, we get it. It's not about preserving the white race because you'll find we go to all these white nationalist kind of, pages on, X or whatever the hell they're at. They love Asian vagina. Like they love Asian women. Some people call it a fetish, literally, because it's like, it's kind of an obsession where it's like, it's a default setting. If they can't work it out with the white female, automatically they'll go for an Asian female, right? It's like, how the hell, like you have all these other races of women on the planet. Why is it that you instantly just go for the Asian female? And people could say, yeah, there's many factors. They're very feminine, which, yeah, they are for sure. I'm not going to say anything negative about Asian women, okay, or any, So, yeah, but why is there a trend there? Like, we all see this. Like, they'll basically go for the Asian female in most cases, more so than even the Hispanic female. In a lot of cases, these Hispanic, like, they're like 80+% Spanish, Iberian Peninsula, more so European, but like they'll go straight for the Asian, Why is that? So they're not against that type of race mixing. They're not. They're not against that. They're only against the race mixing. As I've said, this is the 20th time on this stream, when it's a black male who exhibits the same basically liberties that everybody else in society exhibits, where you could be with whoever the hell you want, right? They only have an issue when it's a black male. When it's a black guy who wants a white woman, then they whine and cry all over X. Okay, I'm going to be talking a lot more about that. Okay, then they whine and cry, which is not on preserving the white race. They don't give a damn about preserving anything except for hegemony over your ass if you're a mulatto male, because they know the dark-skinned Bantu, Coach Greg Adams, Kevin Samuels, the Whack Authority, Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Umar, all these fucking pro-whack savages, they know that they are still going to serve white hegemony. They look at that mulatto male as a threat. They don't look at the dark-skinned black as a threat. Period. Okay, if you don't know, you're gonna learn. You're gonna figure this out the more you listen to me. But rather opposing black and white unions specifically, motivated by a fear of losing dominance underneath their boot. Quoting me, he's been quoting me, what is the third or fourth time. This selective bias suggests their ideology is driven more by anti-black, he capitalizes black, very telling, sentiment and desire to maintain a specific racial hierarchy rather than by the preservationist goals of white nationalism. Therefore, a more precise term, such as quote unquote anti-black, would avoid this contradiction and better reflect their beliefs. Well, Just analyzing everything you've put now. You're pro-black. We get it. You undercase white. You capitalize black. You're saying anti-black is a more precise term. They're not anti-black. They love the status quo of blacks being their butt kissers because the blacks love to serve whites. I'm not saying all. I'm not trying to be an absolutist, but calling a spade a spade. If you guys, I'm going to drop the link in a little bit. If you have an issue with me, you want to challenge what I'm saying, I'm going to drop the link. You can hop your ass up here and tell me what I'm saying is wrong. They fear the mulatto male. They look at the mulatto male as a competitor, and there's historical reference for that. So this idea of being quote anti-black, they're not even anti-black like that. Because how is it when they pay for it? Like Kendrick Lamar's got all these white boy fans and fucking Latino fans and Asian. I'm seeing these Latinos. How the fuck are you supporting Kendrick Lamar? Like they support all these Bantus. They're paying to go to their concerts and paying to watch them throw a basketball through a hoop and baseball, football, all this shit. Like the main market and audience for these blacks are these whites. Michael Jordan's biggest fans are, LeBron James' biggest fans are all whites. So I'm sitting there like they're not anti-black like that. As long as you guys stay underneath their influence, they're cool. Right? Michael, Jordan, those are like English names, right? James, LeBron is, James, the English, right? You got the stamp, the European stamp of ownership. You got their names, right? Isn't that what Malcolm X taught you people? You got their names, their religion, and all that stuff. Like, they're cool with you as long as you stay in your place with them, right? They're comfortable with you, with maintaining the status quo. They know that once you hook up with these white women, you have offspring, and those are males, they're male competitors, they're going to compete for power. Okay, they look at an Obama, they're threatened by Obama. They look at a Gable Stevenson, we can name a lot of others. They're threatened by these individuals, these male competitors. This is the point here. So you are inaccurate. The gentleman who put this comment here, you say anti-black. No, they're not anti-black. No. They're anti-mulatto male. And that's the point with the video that I published and I put up there. And, they're targeting the children. Okay. They're targeting children, especially if that child's a male. They know that child's going to grow up. They're not going to be butt kissers like the dark-skinned Bantu will be. The dark-skinned Bantu, by their 75+% illegitimacy rate, they're raised by single black females. Their mom is going to raise them to be a white ass kisser. Okay. And those of us, you're mulattoes, biracial, you got a white mom. Like, it's funny because we're not raised to be white ass kissers. We're raised to compete with them because a lot of us, we grew up in their societies and we're positioned like, okay, just be a good individual, just compete, do your best, do good. And we compete with them. And a lot of times we outperform them. And it's like, I was never raised in a situation where it's like, I'm going to kiss their ass. I'm like, no, I'm going to fucking compete with you out here. You say you're the best. We need to fucking prove it. See, they can just say they're the best in front of the dark-skinned Bantu. They accept it. A guy like me, I'm like, well, you have to prove it. Or you're going to be dethroned, period. Let me finish this off. It puts, I want to say that I'm a big fan of your content. It's interesting. I got a lot of fans out here, man. I got a lot of hoes and a lot of fans, obsessed fans. I'm not saying this, I'm not putting this individual in the same category, but I'm just reading this comment for this content and this live stream. But it's crazy, this whole concept of fan. You say you're a fan of mine. It's interesting. Like, people are literally, I had a lady, shout out to her, it was like a few months back. She told me she was like my biggest fan. It's kind of strange hearing that from people. A fan, you're a fan of mine, just a guy with an obnoxious attitude and a loud mouth. You're a fan of me, really? I'm not special. And like I said, this is the second time I'm telling you, I'm not special. Okay. I'm not the nicest guy at all. I have a pretty nasty attitude a lot of the times. I'm not special. But, you got people out here who are fans. The thing is, it's cool. You like what I'm saying. But when I look at the fan concept, it's crazy because there are literally people out here who are legit fans where they want to like find out everything about me, where I'm at, where I worked at, and all. It's really bad out here. But they don't want to run up on me. They don't want to run up, like, I don't want to go there right now. Let me see. I want to say that I'm a big fan of your content and truly appreciate the insights you bring to these important discussions. My intention here is to not criticize, but rather to contribute to the conversation by pointing out using precise sound vocabulary strengthens your arguments. I believe that by avoiding terms that might misrepresent the beliefs of those you are critiquing, your points can come across even more powerfully. My points are powerful enough. If you've took the time to put this comment here, my points are sound and powerful enough. Do we all agree? Tell me if I'm lying. Keep up the great work. I'm looking forward to your future videos. Yeah, you were basically kind of you know, helping me with that, being on, being showcased in this live stream. And I'm sitting here like, well, everything I'm doing is working accordingly to plan. Like, there's not much kind of recalibration or adjusting or modifying that needs to be done. Everything's pretty sound. My arguments are solid. You're talking about precise language, but I've examined this whole entire dissertation. It's not a dissertation, okay? Your whole comment here, where it's like you capitalize black, you undercase white, you're saying don't call them white nationalists because they're not about preserving the white race. They're just against black. I get it. I've already said that in all my videos, that they're not against black women being with white males. They're not against that. They're against black males having equal access that every other male competitor in society has. That's what they're against. And they're upset, they're angry at the fact that a lot of times these mulattoes, who are the products of black males and white females, they're not going to kowtow and be butt kissers to white males. They're going to compete for power in society. So they're threatened by that. I've said that in every damn video, and I'm going to continue to say that a lot more now, especially. So, like, there's no kind of like confusion on my part as far as like me changing the vocabulary or to accurately call it anti-black instead of instead of white nationalism. It's white nationalism. You mean white supremacy, whatever. It's the same shit. It's white nationalism. Okay. They want to preserve hegemony. They look at the mulatto male as a threat. They're actually today in 2024, the white nationalists are using these dark-skinned black Bantus against the mulatto males. This is where I come in. This is where my content comes in, to fill that void, to inform the public. This is what we see today. But the interesting part is you're going to see a lot of these black identified, pro-black, who are classically trained in academia, these mulattoes who still serve blacks, they're out of touch with reality. They're out of touch with reality. I'm guessing he's an Xer guy, whatever. I'm a millennial. Look, they don't understand. Today, a lot of these mulattoes, their backs are up against the wall. They're in a very interesting position. They got to realize you're going to either fight or you're going to crumble and fucking perish. And my position is I'm going to fight. I'm not going to get punked by any of you people out here. You see me, you hear me, see me blabbing my mouth over here. Look, off the internet, when I turn off YouTube, I'm out here walking around. You're not going to fucking run up on me and punk me out here. Okay, I'm one of these guys, period. I'm just one dude. There's going to be more. They're coming up. They're coming up. So I've already basically debunked all this stuff. There's nothing else really to state. We understand the angle here. You want to position this as anti-black to just give more credit to them when those same people are caping for, they serve the whites. They want to lay in bed with them and get access to their women, to have us, and they're mad because we're not going to be cowards like them. Like, we're going to surpass them and be better. This is all it is. This is all it is. Did I miss anything, guys? Let me read some of your comments. Did I miss anything? This channel has been very enriching to me. Learned a lot from it. Celine. He said the two words go hand in hand. The two words go hand in hand. Synonymous, right? White nationalism, white supremacy. It's same crap. The thing is with the white supremacy stuff, it's been used too often. A lot of the black crybabies. Okay, when I say black, I'm saying black American crybabies who cry about white people. They have used white supremacy so much for every damn thing that I don't even want to use that word anymore because I don't want to sound like them. That's it. Like they say everything is white supremacy, institutional racism, and white supremacy, blah blah blah. And you got some black who's driving a fucking BMW made by white people. Imagine that, guys. They're using a white technology. Okay, they're using white technology, white infrastructure made by white people, made by white men, and they're gonna cry and complain about white people. See, I'm not an ungrateful bastard like a lot of them. That's the thing. Like, you look at the vocabulary, they're gonna cry about white supremacy, driving a BMW made by Germans, made by whites, right? Using an iPhone, talking crap about white people, and using all their technology, all their websites, and all their platforms. It's just, that word has been misused and overused so damn much to where it's really pathetic. You put here a lot of so-called Christian nationalism. You hear about it, really white nationalism. Yeah, they call it the Christian identity movement. Christian identity movement. Yeah, I've examined a lot of them. There's one guy I made a short about earlier. I think yesterday I uploaded it. I'm going to share it right now. He's basically falls in line with the Christian identity movement. Yeah. Where it's just white nationalism. They've kind of rebranded it with Christianity. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Mahomes, my favorite football player, and you put here Blaxican guy puts it really doesn't matter what country, they all do the same thing. Interesting. Yeah. Maybe the black guy approached a white woman and showed he had a positive traits for a long-term partner for a marriage. They never think of that though. Yeah. These types of white women watch a lot of corn, especially interracial or white men. I'm sorry, I apologize. WM white men watch a lot of corn, specifically interracial white women, black men. I think I saw a comment about that. I don't know if it was you, Val. I think it was you. I did see a comment about that earlier, and that's precisely what it is. Like, I thought about this as well. Like, they're basically yeah, they watch a lot of corn, as you put here, with the corn on the cob, using the code words here, right? And what it is with a lot of these white guys is they talk about how like blacked.com is like it's owned by Jews. And like a lot of these production companies in that industry are in every industry are owned by Jewish people because they're very business savvy. You people could probably learn something from them, and they're smarter than everybody else. Right. And that's why a lot of the whites, they fear them because they're smarter. Like, and the whites, they hire these people, Albert Einstein, Oppenheimer, etc. They hire these people to help them build their weapons and technology. The smartest people on the planet are Jewish people. And that's why a lot of the Anglo-Saxons, the whites, they're fearful of them. And you put here that as far as like with the corn production companies, yeah, a lot of them are owned by Jewish people because there's money to be made. Like, but they're trying to say it's an agenda. They're trying to promote miscegenation to weaken white males. It's like, but the white males have access to all these women as well. What's their deal? Yeah, I thought of this comment you put the other day on one of my videos. I think it was you, Val, or maybe somebody else, where it's like all these chicks you see in those videos, every other man on the planet has access to those women. It's just, are you willing to pay the price? Like, that's all it is. So, but you have broke ass white incel guys who watch these videos and they're enraged and mad that they see these black guys in these videos having access to these white women. But I'm like, those white women are up for sale, sadly to say that. But in that business, the adult film industry, like, it's a business. Like, these are actors and these people are getting paid. So it's like everybody has access to that. But like a lot of these white guys, they try to push it as if it's like an agenda or they don't have access to those women. They haven't put themselves out there. It's funny, if, like a guy like me, I'm nobody special. I messaged one of these guys. Do I want to say this? Let me just say that like an offer was brought my way. All I did was message a guy who worked for one of these companies to be involved in a shoot. Okay, I'll say that. And the opportunity presented itself. I'm not special. Okay. So if a guy like me can just literally inquire and message a couple people and be like, hey, I want to be in a video, if it's that easy in today's market, what the hell is preventing them from being involved in that way? See, yeah, they're mad at the access point. When the thing is, when you look at these guys, these videos, everybody can be that individual. But yeah, your comment hits the nail on the head. It's what it is. I can't articulate it in the fashion that I want to, but they're upset with the fact that they feel like other, specifically the black males, have access to the women that they don't have access to, maybe because they're not in shape or they're not socially savvy. They're not connecting with other people, because it's like everybody has access to those individuals in that industry. To be honest with you, everyone has a price. And yeah, that's it. So you affirm and agree with her. There it is. Yeah, it's basically with the whole kind of that whole industry, right? They really are the weakest links of us mulattoes. I don't know. Many mulatto males I've come across act like they are the next coming of pro-black Obama. Who are they though? Because I was thinking to myself, I was trying to think, who are these guys? I'm trying to pinpoint. Do you have any celebrities or any like prominent figures in public and social media that are trying to? Drake is like the number one mulatto guy in entertainment. He is not pro-black, even though he said, "I like my girls BBW." But yet all the dark skinned black BB, not all, okay, but let me rephrase that. A lot of them, dark skinned black BBWs, are turning on him, supporting Kendrick. Look how that turns out. If you're a mulatto man, light skinned man, and you're caping for these dark skinned blacks, like, you just wait when they turn on your ass and you look like a fucking idiot. I know, because I've been there. That's why people hear the bitterness in my voice, right? My whole position here with my platform and social media is to let these younger people know, don't even go the same path. You don't have to prove anything. Use your privilege, use your light skin, your white privilege, whatever. Use that. Make the most money you can, travel the world, live your life. You don't owe these blacks anything. It's actually the reverse. They owe you. They claim all your history. They steal your history from you, right? They owe you. And that's. But I'm trying to find these like mulatto guys who like cape. They want to be pro-black like Obama. Like, where are they? Can you name some names? Because I was thinking the other day, I thought of J. Cole, because J. Cole did some punk coward bitch shit with the whole. He did a diss track to Kendrick, and then he like deleted the track and apologized. And he will be known forever in history as being a bitch. Like, it's very sad. I have no respect for J. Cole as a rapper. And I barely knew the guy before. I shared a video clip of him. I actually, generated a quote that I heard from him about affirming that he's biracial. And, I appreciated the guy prior, like a year ago. But with this whole like Drake and Kendrick situation, I'm re-examining J. Cole. I'm like, this is the weakest shit I've ever seen. Like, he just wants to be in maintain good standing with all the blacks. Like, that subordinate position that these light-skinned mulattoes find themselves in with these blacks, it's very disgusting. And I am completely against that. I'll be the public enemy number one. I'll just rather be the bad guy. But at least I maintain my balls and integrity. If anything, I refuse to be underneath any of you people. You're not my people. I'm not like you. Skin color is the slickest hustle within black people. Keith David puts, I want daughter to look like Ice Spice or Doja Cat. I don't care about being called self-hate. I don't know. I don't get it. Latin and Asian love their mixtures, and pro-blacks just won't let go. The Owl shows in the chat. I'm going to drop the link later, Owl, if you want to hop up here. I think you have some interesting insight. Blacks' slickest hustle is bringing on slavery and colonizers 24/7. Yeah. Well, that's, kind of all they have, right? That's all they have. They don't have nothing else, because they have the same opportunities. They can apply to work for the same companies everybody else. All these major corporations have black employees. I don't understand, like Google, which is YouTube, the US government, every corporation, like, they actually get subsidized for hiring blacks. Like, they have, so with, affirmative action and Title IX and all these other initiatives, like, they like all these corporations and companies everywhere, they have black employees. So you can compete in society and work. So like what the fuck are they crying about? Yeah, that slavery thing is all they have, right? You enslaved my great 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 granddaddy who's a FBA from the communita, and I got negative 12% European blood, so I'm just as mixed as you, and I want my reparations, and I'm not even a black. I'm a copper colored Indian. I'm not even black. I'm an Indian. Give me my reparation. The white man, and they work for white people. It's just a fucking joke. And I'm trying to look at these mulattoes. Do you want to look like an idiot along with them? Is that what you want? Or do you want your own shit where you have your own integrity? Like I said, I'm not special. I'm not saying I have all the solutions. I don't. But I'm looking at the environment and I see on social media, I'm like, this is a joke. You guys make it too easy for me. You guys give me content. What the hell? Don't let them beat you into submission. Supremacists are usually nationalists, and nationalists can be supremacists. That's what I'm saying. It's synonymous. But the guy, the comment that I read, he kind of tried to position it that you're inaccurately describing them. You're calling them white nationalists. Don't call them white nationalists. They're not about preserving the white purity. Yeah, I know that. They're about maintaining white hegemony, and they fear mulattoes more than any other male out here. They don't fear the black males, dark skin. They don't fear the Mexican males. They don't fear Asian males. They fear the mulatto males, right? And they want to cut off access with white females and black males, which they've had laws throughout the nation. We all know that, anti-miscegenation laws, and they fear the mulatto male. That's the whole point there. So you call them nationalist supremacists. It's the same shit. It's not really a big difference, but that guy, the comment I read, he's, seemed to take an issue with that because he's pro-black, right? So he wants me to call it anti-black instead of anything else, which is, very telling. All they did is talk about slavery and colonizers. Yeah, that's all they have to talk about, right? Their arguments are not race mix, aren't even good. Single race people pretend that race mixing is a new phenomenon. It's not. Yeah, people around the planet have been mixing, for millennia. You have this whole like Euro-Asia. These are a whole Hapa demographic. You have people of mixed Caucasian and Asian ancestry, what they call like the people of the steppe in Kazakhstan and that whole region, Eurasia. Like these people have been mixing Asians and Europeans for millennia. And we know the Horn of Africa with the Arab world and the Middle East and Africa, like they've been mixing for millennia. So like there's been mixed people forever. It's not a brand new phenomenon. We know, like they look at the mulatto male as a competitor and a political threat. This is what I'm trying to position the argument as. I'm trying to educate the public and let people see, especially the men, fucking wake up, man. If if you want to serve these other groups, why not develop your own agenda? I'm not special. I'm not trying to lead you people. I mean, the title might be kind of misleading. Vanguard, the leader of a movement. It instills a sense of power and authority, which is necessary. But in all honesty, I'm just a normal dude. Like, I'm not like one of these pussies out here who's hiding behind an avatar every day trying to act like they run shit. Like, yeah, I'm talking to you right now live behind an avatar, but I'm very public and vocal. Yeah, you guys know what's up. Live footage of me talking in front of a camera. I'm not just posting photos of myself from fucking 10 years ago. Right? Like you guys see, like, that's why I get a kick out of the people who like try to talk shit or whatever, or edit my image and try. It's like it's hilarious. Like you're not on my level, man. You'll always be beneath me. And you put here, they're the ones who watch that, which is why those incels are always talking about Tyrones with BBCs. Yeah. The thing is, though, a lot of these Tyrones with BBCs, they're always like, I had a comment the other day from some idiot who put a comment about that, and they lead with the BBC and the white nationalists, the white incels, whatever you want to call them. They've actually kind of made it into a common phrase, colloquial phrase, where they're like, but my D, right? Because that's a very common counter argument that the Bantus will make. Be like, oh, well, your chick likes my your chick likes my BBC and all that stuff. So the white nationalists have kind of picked up on that, and they've kind of, they clown them on that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because a lot of these Tyrone guys, they try to lead with that argument. Oh, but your chick likes my BBC, ha ha ha. And I'm like, bro, you guys are the brokest people in the nation. You don't have any functional families. Like, you're losing everywhere. I don't understand. Like, how can you brag about a BBC, about a phallus? Like, you're fucking losing everywhere. It's very sad. And like, the only time you're like really excelling is when you mix in with these Europeans, and you have people like us, like you have these mulattoes or mixed people, then you're like, then you brag about it, trying to fit in with society. I don't have that issue. Like, I look at myself in the mirror, like, we're the future. I look at the younger generation, where I'm at. Doesn't matter. We're the future. So it's all good with what I'm doing. You get called all names. Yeah. Academia, journalism. Yeah. I'm going to be right back, guys. I got to jump into something else. Let me see what I got here. Yeah. You put racism is fueled by men. Yeah, great point. Great point. Yeah, shout out to you for that. Yeah, it's a competition, right? A race is a competition. You're competing. And men or males are more competitive by nature. It's in our nature to compete. Therefore, it's more of a male phenomenon. Precisely. And yeah. There were so many of my college campus, as far as famous dudes go. Yeah, Jesse Williams. Okay, yeah, you make a good point. Has he said anything that's anti-white though? Because in the clip that I'm going to share right now, when I'm done with like these comments, is that this guy, I've been following him for a minute. He's always trying to frame mulattoes as being like anti-white, and there's a lot of them who are, right? But I'm like, to me, some of them, like, I have to find out who they are. Like Jesse Williams, is he anti-white? No. Just because the whites are fucking uppity and upset with him doesn't mean he's anti-white. They look at him as a threat. What public statement has he said that's anti-white? That's what I'm trying to figure out with Jesse Williams, because he capes for blacks. But like, can somebody point out like a quote or a statement that he said that's like anti-white? I don't think they can do that. See, it's all their perception. They're like, oh, well, because you're siding with the blacks and you're caping for the blacks, and so you must be anti. It's like, well, what the hell did he say that's anti-white? Because I was thinking about Colin Kaepernick as well. Before I put in J. Cole's image in the video I'm going to share with you guys, I had a Colin Kaepernick image, but I swiped it out. I took it out. I was like, oh, wait a second. That's not fair. That's not ethical for me to do that, to put an image of Colin Kaepernick, because it's like, well, he's never publicly said anything that's anti-white, right? Even though a lot of the whites are crying and whining about him and all this crap because he's not standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance, it doesn't mean he's anti-white. I've never heard a statement. Somebody please post a comment. Tell me otherwise. I'd love to see what you have to say about that. So Jesse Williams, now I've never heard him say anything anti-white, just because he capes for the community, because he feels sorry for them, because he's a light-skinned savior, one of these mulattoes who's privileged and feels sorry. I know, because I was one of them. I wasn't raised around these savages, and I felt sorry for them. And then, when I tried to give him a hand, they showed me their true nature, spit in my face, and I realized, okay, yeah, I got my wake-up call. I realized what it's about. They're sadomasochists. Okay, if you don't like them or you hate on them, they love you. But if you identify with them and you sympathize with them, they're gonna hate you and despise you. Look what they did with Drake. Remember Drake? They're trying to mock him. Oh, he went to Atlanta, tried to act like he from the hood. He tried to act like he from black culture. They're trying to mock him. He tried to identify with them. Look how they treated him. If you guys haven't figured this shit out with this whole Drake situation, I do not know what to tell you. This is why I milk the whole Drake shit. I don't even listen to Drake like that. And Kendrick and all this crap. What, Kendrick had a couple tracks like Humble or Mad City, and like I said, that Black Panther song he did like with the other cat. Like Kendrick doesn't have that many hits. Like he's got a couple songs that I liked, just like Drake. Drake has more hits for sure. He's more accomplished, more successful, but it's clearly an anti-biracial male agenda, anti-mulatto male agenda we see going on. That's why I'm taking this Drake shit, and I was like, let me just milk it, because I don't even fuck with Drake like that, man. But it's so obvious what's going on. And you mulatto men who don't stand up for yourself, you're fucking punks. And if I see you guys over there caping for the whatever community, I'm laughing. I'm just taking notes. I'm sitting back. I don't care. Like with what I'm doing over here, I'm giving these people an option. Period. Use the history, be inspired by the history, know who you are, embrace it. It's not going away anywhere. They've been trying to bury you for literally centuries. They've been trying to bury you ever since, the Brown Fellowship Society and, the Blue Vein Society. They've been trying to bury you in this society. I'm talking about United States of America, where I'm from, where I'm living at, talking to you from right now, live. They've been trying to bury your ass for the past 100 years, but we're still here. We're still here. So my job is to share the history with you guys. Let's see what we got. Copper colored kookiness. Yeah. They're pro-black. They're not even calling themselves black anymore. They're saying they're Indians now. They're copper colored. Yeah. These white men want all these type of women for themselves. They're greedy. That's basically what it is. Okay. That's kind of with this male dominance theory. Yeah, they want all the Asian women, even the blacks. Like they want the black women to themselves, and they never cry and complain when a white male unalives a black female. They never share that shit on their social media. No, they only share negative stories when it's a black male who doesn't dirty a white female, which they should share. I'm against censorship. I want them to share it, share the news. I'm not like but I'm saying is like they are, it's within their right to be biased. That's perfectly fine. I don't care. Like, but people will spread the bias argument with me, especially these biracial fucking hookers, okay, who serve black males, okay. They're the ones, because they want to fit in with black men. They're the ones who are going to push the whole argument that, oh, you're biased. You're biased. You're biased when all the other networks and platforms are biased out here. Fox, MSNBC, okay? Everyone has their own biases, which is perfectly fine. Like, everyone has their own social media. If you don't like the news, go tune into another channel. But they try to cry about me like echo chamber, or they use these little stupid terms, echo chamber. I'm like, we got our own shit now. People are upset that the mulattoes have our own shit now. They're upset. How can you? It's hilarious to me. What the hell did you think was going to happen? You think that we're going to sit around with these pro whacks, let them fucking dog us out and talk shit? Dr. Umar, the Whack Authority, and Tariq Fraudshid, the rest of these savages. You think I was going to sit there and let them just punk us out and shit? That we weren't going to just take notes and develop our own shit? It's too late for all that crap. It's too late now. But what this individual says is true. That basically, when you look at like the social media of a lot of the white incel, white nationalists, whatever, it's, they only have an issue when the black male gets a white woman, particularly. Then they have an issue with that. Okay, and I'm pointing out, I'm being real. I'm pointing out the bias here, because they don't say shit when a white guy is with a black female. I saw earlier today driving around town. They don't say nothing about that. They invite her to the fucking, whatever their social engagement they're going to. They have nothing to say. No, if it's a white guy, Asian, or whatever, they have nothing to say. It's only when the black male. See, and it's because what they're upset about is when, if they have a mulatto male child, like they produce a Gable Stevens, Stevenson, they produce an Olympic gold medalist or an Andre Ward. I believe his mom is black and his dad's white, if I'm not mistaken, Andre Ward, but he's another Olympic gold medalist boxer. Like when they see these competitor males, mulatto males, that then they start to get upset, like an Obama or somebody. Okay, then they start to whine and cry. He says I was accurate about nationalism. I've noticed racism has been more of a male thing throughout history. Additionally, 90% of the time, racist black men and white men are not exactly rude towards me for being mulatto. Yeah, and you have to understand, I know you're probably not going to understand. You're a lady, but I'll do the best I can. Like with the whole situation with black males, white males, they work as a team against mulatto men. And I don't expect you to understand this, but I'm publicly saying it. This is a situation that a lot of mulatto men find themselves in. And the issue that I see is a lot of mulatto men don't realize that they do have support out here. They have guys out here talking their language, speaking for them in their defense. And my whole thing is the history is important because you got to develop an identity around that. And this is a situation. These other groups, they already have their history. Okay. And they're trying to steal our history as well. That's the big issue. This is why I'm heavily focused on this, because they want to steal our history from us and claim it as their own. But at the same time, they want to try to punk us, the men, the male competitors, and outgroup us. We're like, well, wait a second. Like, and they want all the women for themselves. So like the guy over here who put in the comment, like, oh, these white men, they're greedy. They want the women for themselves. Well, the black males do the same shit to the mulatto men. They want to claim Obama as being a black president. They want to claim all these mulatto men throughout history as being quote unquote black. But then they look at a Drake. They want to try to outgroup Drake and say, oh, he ain't black. He ain't a part of the culture. He wasn't raised with the rest of the fucking savages struggling in the hood. We're like, well, wait a second. So you're picking and choosing. No. We're not. I'm not doing that over here. I'm not doing that. Okay. And so this is what I see here, where it's like it's definitely a male-centered competition. And that's the thing, like, yeah. And the white males and black males, they work together. And it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of these guys, the mulatto men. But you know what? They're eventually going to figure it out. They're eventually going to figure it out. That's all I have to say about that. Because I know I'm not the only one. I know for a fact. People say whatever the hell they want. Mulatto Vanguard, you're a short, bald incel living in your mama's basement. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not the only one who sees what's going on. That's the whole point with this social media endeavor. I'm not the only one who sees this. And that's why I appreciate you guys jumping in here, providing your insight in your commentary or etc. as well, your comments. Like you guys, you see what it is, especially a lot of you men. Shout out to you guys. You guys know who you are, Blaxican guy, and even MLS people and all this stuff. You guys know what's up. I remember one of my old classmates contacted me on Facebook. It was a male, yet he had white pride photos up and looked like a skinhead. I was like, what the F? Yeah. Racism fueled by men. Yeah, I checked. I saw that one. Yeah. It's nice to hear. I've never seen mulattoes get bullied in my school. I'm from NYC. I hardly see mixed people from here. That's a great point, Val. I just realized from personal experience, the ignorance didn't come from the men so much toward me as it did the women. The time I was in school, there was many physical fights between black and white males, not two mulatto males. Meanwhile, the mulatto males were getting the black men and white women. Interesting. Let me see what else we got here. Lately, the only mulattoes I've heard that spew anti-white rhetoric are a bunch of nobodies on TikTok. Essentially, I'm the prettiest. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The whole pretty privilege and, desirability politics stuff. And a lot of black women who cry about colorism, they make themselves look very dumb, because if they just lead themselves with confidence and just do their content, live their life, like, I don't know, they can compete with all these other women. Like, there's a lady, I'm not gonna say her name, but like I saw she put a couple comments on some of my like posts or whatever here on this channel, and she has her own channel. She has her content, black lady. I think she's like Creole background or whatever. She speaks French. something like that, and she's very attractive, black female, browns, dark brown skin, whatever, like very attractive. So I'm sitting there like, a lady like her, like she's feminine, she leads with her femininity, like they have endless options. Like, so, but if she were to turn around and cry about colorism, to me it looks very weak. It's like, like, I don't know. It's like a short guy complaining because he's short. Oh, they only like tall guy or something like that. Like, that's when I look at the skin color thing. You can't change your skin color. You could bleach if you want. Okay, if you want to do that, just like if you're a short guy, I'm a short guy. I'm a short king, short fucking king, right? I'm 5'7" on a tall day, and it's like, yeah, I could get some, surgery. I can break my fucking kneecaps or something, or you break your tib fib, your tibula fibula bones, and there's like a reconstruction surgery. You can, during the regenerative process, it heals up and you grow, you increase like 4 inches or 6 inches. They have surgery for guys that can literally, they'll break your knee or you break your leg. I don't know, your knee or your leg, whatever. I haven't looked into it. I don't plan on getting it. I'm 5'7", but they have surgery out there where they can literally, you can grow like 4 inches by literally breaking your fucking leg. And when your leg heals, you'll, through the regenerative process, you'll grow a few inches. I'm not interested in any of that crap. Like, I'm just going to work with what I have and excel. And that's the way I look at it with these women who are darker skin. Like, I mean, you're not going to change your skin. If you want to bleach it, that's on you, but might as well like work on other things to improve yourself. That's my advice out here. Okay. I'm not special. I'm just giving you my advice. Like, I was living in two different major states as a minor. One of the places was very diverse, every race, and the other was black and white. Yeah. Let me get into the other clip. I got light skin history in the house. Shout out to you. I actually referenced you earlier for one of the points you made. Let me see what we got here. Yeah.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Kind of a little acknowledgement there. I referenced you earlier with one of the points you made, one of your videos. I think it was the one you talked about the shattered mulatto soul, I believe it was. And you highlighted this mulatto woman who was like, well, you got to use your light skin privilege and all this stuff to help black people out. It's like mulattoes have been doing that throughout history and they have nothing to show for it. But I really appreciate your commentary in that matter, because you're absolutely right. And what the point that I really agree with is that I tend to see more so mulatto women who are susceptible to falling for that shit, for the social justice warrior, pro-black, defending black people's honor, relinquishing their own identity just to serve darker skinned people. And the reason why I say that, because I even saw it earlier today with a Dominican mulatto on TikTok. Very gorgeous, beautiful woman. I mean, definitely she's like my type, right? Mulatto from the DR. And but I'm like, it's very common, I feel like, for the women to push that crap. I feel like if the guys do that pro-black crap, like, they're gay. I mean, that's what I see. Okay. Or just, I don't know, like they have some resentment towards white people if they're mulatto and they, they have white family or whatever. Maybe they never met their white family. They have some resentment there or something like that. Because I'm like, how the hell are you caping if you're a guy? Like, like the chips are kind of stacked against you. Like, in the community, they've positioned it to where, oh man, you sassy, you weak, you light skinned. And they've convinced lighter skinned women to push that same stereotype on you. The game is really fucked up for a lot of these guys who operate in the black community, to where it's like they've tried to dog you out and punk you, where other, like, it's fucking bad, man. I'm not from the black community. That's why I'm just an outside observer, like analyzing this stuff. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? How is it that you have a biracial female or a light skinned female talking shit about a light skin or a biracial guy? Like, what do you get from that? Well, you want to know what they get from that? They get brownie points and acknowledgement from darker skinned people. But how many people are calling it out to say, like, this is fucking weird? This isn't normal behavior. Like, nobody else is really doing that unless they're on some like liberal gay shit. Like, you'll see white people kind of do that. white feminists will throw white men under the bus, but they're like on some liberal gay shit. It's really weird. Like, how are you gonna throw male counterparts under the bus? Like, what are you ultimately gaining? I don't get it. Shout out to Northern Lights in the house. Let me see what we got. We got a lot of black women are beautiful, but they act like none are attractive. Like every race and gender has ugly people, yet they are off limits. Yeah. Some say black women are beautiful and some look so some black women are beautiful and some look disgusting, but you aren't allowed to point out without them losing their minds. Too insecure. Yeah, any non-black race men will team up with unambiguous black men to try to pile on mixed men. I've had it happen. You've had it happen. That's why I support you and I follow all your content on TikTok and all that. You've had it happen. I've had it happen. Basically, all the other dudes out here, they've had a lot of the guys don't speak up. And I know you don't show your face, but you put content out there, and I support your content for sure. Especially, I see what you do over on TikTok, and it's like, yeah, we see the game. Like in these other groups of men, even the Latinos, they're not gonna want me saying that, but they'll work with the Bantu and the white boys to talk shit about us. They're mad as well because the Latina women like us also. Okay, they're mad because so is what it is. They're mad. They get jealous. They see that these other women like us. They want to fuck with us. Okay, doing all the nasty shit. They want to do with us. They're mad and jealous about that. And these other male competitors will team up against us. And I just don't see that many mulatto men calling it out, or light skinned men, etc. They're calling a spade a spade. Like, this is a perfect opportunity for you guys to galvanize, to build something around this. And you're going to build strength around this. And it's going to give you more opportunities in the end as well, because people are going to see these people are operating from power and strength. Oh shit, they're actually developing a kind of ecosystem and community around this. People are going to be attracted to it. They're going to be tuning in, and it's only going to grow. That's it. Northern Light puts, some people are turned off by how white some people can be too, but because of the history being the white oppressing the brown and darker people, it's not viewed the same, even though today it could be. It's leg lengthening surgery. Before cosmic use, it was originally created for little people with dwarfism. You saw leg lengthening. Yeah. So they just, basically stretch your legs out. It's funny. I think South Park, I don't think, I know, South Park did a whole episode on that surgery, on like the concept of that surgery. South Park, the cartoon animation, they did like a cartoon about that. And I've heard about that. It's been existent for a while. It'll probably cost a guy several $1,000 to do that. It seems really stupid. Like I first, like, I saw a video about it. Like I said, I saw it in South Park like a while ago, but eventually I saw like a video pop up like a few years ago. It just seems like fucking stupid. Like, I'm good with what I'm doing. Like, I've already had enough success with what I'm doing in life right now. Like, I'm good. I don't get it. Like, I got to grow a few more inches for what? For what? It's everything's going to feel the same. Like, I'm going to get the same results pretty much. I just don't see a much difference. That's not the problem that I see. But there's some guys who, it depends. You said dwarfism, yeah. I saw that video about light skin history. The lady clearly got the biracial wake up call somehow. I don't think she did. Maybe you gotta rewatch it. You maybe didn't interpret it accurately, but that lady did not get her biracial wake up call. That lady was the definition of a light skin savior. Let me see if I can pull it up, because I know we got we got a light skin history in the chat. That lady clearly did not get her wake up call. Like, that lady she was caping hard. She was basically trying to say, well, we gotta use our light skin privilege to help out darker. That's what all these biracials tell you. That's what they all tell you. And they try to get black baby daddies, and that's what they all tell you. You're just racist and anti-black, you just gotta kiss black butt and be a single mom like me, and everything will be good. Let me see if I can find out where light skin history, because I shared his video. Here we go. Let me share my screen now so you guys see what's going on. Okay. Light skin history. The tortured mulatto spirit, part 1. And this was what, 7 days ago, a week ago, right? I got light skin history in the chat too. Shout out to him. This is a video you're talking about. You said you saw the video by light skin historian. The lady clearly got her biracial wake up call. She did not. She did not get her biracial wake up call at all. If you watch the clip and the commentary that light skin historian was talking about, was how this lady is like the tortured mulatto soul, because she feels like she has to be a servant, a slave to darker skinned people to basically feel relevant. She doesn't have her own destiny. She doesn't have her own purpose in life. She's attached herself to Blackistan, and she has to do their bidding and serve their will to feel like a human. I mean, that's why it's a tortured soul. She doesn't have her own identity. She identifies with black people. So she has not got her wake up call, and I don't think she ever will. I mean, like I said, I like light skin history's analysis on that, because we see it more with women than men. And I know people are gonna, I want you guys to basically tell me I'm wrong, especially you ladies, mulattas over here. I want you to tell me I'm wrong. Put a comment, tell me how I'm so wrong, how the men are such, you know. I see a huge discrepancy. And like I said earlier on TikTok, I saw this Dominican mulatta, and I'm just sitting there like, damn, you got nothing but black males in your fucking chat, nothing but black dudes. Yeah, they all like you because you're their preference. They want to make you a baby mama. I get it. They all like you. That's your fans. You didn't have one woman. You didn't have one fucking feminist in your damn chat. Yeah, nothing but guys up in there. That's very telling. You'll have some of these women, these mixed women, who are so pro female, but yet all their fans are guys. We're like, okay, something's not adding up here. Something's not adding up. I don't know. For me, I pride myself in the fact that I see mulatto men and mulatto women in the same space. What I'm doing, not only here on YouTube, but on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc. When I see the women and the men interacting with each other, or exchanging notes, sharing information, I'm very prideful of that. I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track, because this is a community. Okay. I think that both the mulatto men and women, but women before they get married tend to be more left leaning, or at least easily manipulated by having their emotions used. You'll see some weird Asian women do it. It's a conditioning to conform through emotional mental manipulation. Sad to admit, it works well on a lot of my fellow mulatta women. Thanks. We got to call them out on it and let them know we have been pro-black throughout history, and we have nothing to show for it. We have nothing to show. It's not reciprocated. Because you talk about Du Bois, W. Du Bois, you talk about Adam Clayton Powell, Thurgood Marshall, Charles Drew, Booker T. Washington. Okay, that's just within the past 100 years. You can go even further than that. You have nothing to show for it. It's the darker skinned people. They owe you now. They have to show you why it's even necessary for you to identify with them. Do your own shit. If you grew up around black people, that's your people, all your friends, your network, your social circle, I get it. I'm not trying to pull you guys over here. I get it. Like, if you're black identified, that's your group. It's all good. Like that, just do what you do. I get it. But for me, I'm doing something different. I'm like, look, I've already tried to help those people. Okay. They got some freebies, but now it's time for them to pay. They got to pay. They got to pay. And I'm just one dude, but I know there's other mulattoes out here listening, tuning in. They agree. Like, yeah, you're right. They owe us something now. And we look at historically, as we're saying, you look historically, and I just referenced the past 100 years with Thurgood Marshall, Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois, Adam Clayton Powell, all these characters. Like, they've all caped hard. Even Dr. Claude Anderson, they caped hard writing books, trying to build schools, businesses for the Black community. They have nothing to show for it. Nothing. It's very sad and unfortunate. And I'm looking at these younger generation. I'm like, you guys, there's got to be a course correction here. Make sure that they pay you and give you something. Make sure you get something out of it. But it's so they can get with the white man. You put, oh, Asian women, they do it. Yeah. Asian women do it so that they can get with the white man. Yeah, for sure. I told them that it was weird in my TikTok comments earlier. Some mixed race people never truly realize just how much hatred and disdain blacks have for them. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the whites too. And the issue is that the whites will use these blacks, okay, against mixed people. And I thought about, and the other day I was like, well, why are these blacks? I put a comment. Why are they so cocky today on social media? Open disdain, open hostility, hatred, talking shit about mixed people and the quote unquote half breeds. Like, why are these fucking blacks so cocky today? Like, there's something not right. And then you come to find out, oh, it's because they're white paymasters. That's what it is. Because they got the approval from their white masters to talk shit on the mulatto men. This is what it is. Like, I was thinking about it, like, no, because these blacks know better. Like, there's certain people they don't talk shit about. They don't get all uppity and run their mouth and do, all the light skin jokes and all this shit. No. Why are they so comfortable talking about mulatto men the way they are? Because their white massa said it's okay. That's it. That's it. I don't see how Black Americans make it very obvious that they dislike us for being born. They aren't shy about it. Yeah. Yeah. But then again, there's people behind the scenes. Okay. They hide, they conceal themselves, and they're white, who are influencing, paying, and encouraging these Bantus to spread their disdain for you. Period. I mean, you guys can lie and pretend you don't want to touch on it. And, this is what we see. I see it, and you see it too. You just don't want to fucking talk about it. You want me to hop my ass up here and talk about it and be the bad guy, be the target. You hate me. Oh, you bald and all. You guys, this is what we see. Because these blacks, these Bantus are way too fucking cocky today, running their fucking mouth about half breeds and all this shit. They're way too fucking cocky. Something's not right. Something's not adding up. Where did they get all this courage from? They're not winning in society. You could count the couple celebrities, Michael Jordan, Kanye West, and they all got non-black partners. I just named the first two that came off the top of my head. Michael Jordan's got a non-black partner, Kanye West, non-black. I just named the first two came up in my head. I mean, even these pro whacks like Phil Advice Show and all this shit. Like, they're way too fucking cocky talking about you mulattoes. Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Why are they this cocky to spread this hate and misinformation and black supremacy? Why are they that cocky? Why? We have so many mulattoes out here who are virtue signalers, who serve black people's interests. This is it. This is it. Like, they're enablers. And these whites are enablers because they sponsor, promote, endorse these Bantus to hate on you. Right? Because the whites, they'll be secretive. They're behind the scenes. You work with them in the workplace. I do. And I see it. And this is why I'm kind of in this position now to where it's like, let me kind of go in this direction and see where things go. Let me be a little risky. What do I have to lose? Nothing. Okay. I have everything to gain, nothing to lose. Let me kind of go in this direction, see what I can kind of dig up, because we see it in the work environment. Like, they're very on code, but they got these blacks doing their bidding for them in a way, in a manner they'll never have these mulattoes do. And they'll try to spin it. They'll try to flip it and say, oh, these mulattoes, they'll always serve white people's. But why are they so scared of us? Why are they so threatened by our existence? Okay. The blacks and the whites. Why are they so threatened by? Because they don't want you people to realize your own destiny. They don't want you to have your own autonomy and sovereignty. Both of these groups want to play this game to pull you here, that you need to pick a side. I don't pick none of you motherfuckers. Okay, I'm very public about this mulatto shit. What are you going to do about it? What the fuck are you going to do about it? I'm very public. I'm one guy. There's a lot more coming up after me. That's why they're mad. That's why they're upset. They know it's a fact. It's inevitable. There's a lot more coming up after me. Let me get into the next clip. I was going to share this here. We got the clip I shared the other day. This is part and parcel with this whole discussion here. And yeah, keep the comments coming, guys, because I do appreciate that. Let me cue this up right now. I shared this the other day, and I'm going to walk through it with you guys and talk through it. So let's get this. Here we go. Okay. It says some people claim that mulattoes have a white man's brain, which he basically made the whole argument. And then again, the name of the stream is it supremacy or is it nationalism? It's the same shit. So I had the first comment that the guy who's like, don't call it white nationalism, call it anti-black. No, okay, because you're pro-black, and these white nationalists, they're not anti-black because they want to maintain the status quo. They know blacks are fixed in and a bottom class at the bottom, and they like blacks. They give all these blacks all this money to watch them throw a fucking football across the field. They're not against the blacks. They're against the mulatto males, okay, who will compete with the white males for power in society, period. Okay. And this guy, he embodies that. He's another one. Okay. Christian identity movement, all this shit. Okay. Using the Bible to justify his position. He's not threatened by the blacks. They love the blacks. And I've documented this guy all over this channel. I have clips of this guy literally telling you the mulattoes are worse than the blacks. The mulattoes hate whites 1,000 times more than the blacks. And all. He's publicly said this shit, and I document all. I'm like, yeah, they fear you more than the blacks. They know the blacks are going to kiss their fucking ass, wipe their butt. Okay. They know the darker they are, the blacker they are, the more of a white ass kisser they are. They know the mulattoes, especially guys like me and the others. Okay. We're competing in society, and we're not going to be easily fucking kowtowed. Right. Listen to this guy.
Is they've incited these blacks to hate white people in general, and the mulattoes, the blacks and the mulattoes, especially the mulattoes, because they use their.
He said the blacks and the mulattoes, and he's like, oh, especially the mulattoes. The critical thing to understand here is the distinction, the delineation. He didn't just say the blacks. He said the blacks and the mulattoes. That's critically important because all your Afrocentric pro-wax will be like, oh, well, my white massa, he looks at us as all the same. My white massa, man, black is dominant. If you got black, you still gonna be considered black to them white folks. You know, all these dumb idiots. These pro-wax, they jump all in my comments. They're all up in my comments. Man, the white folks, man, my white massa, they look at you with damn. No, they fucking don't. They're fearful of us. They're very hateful and angry towards us. They look at you savages. They know you're just gonna be dumb, bouncing around on the court, throwing a football, dancing and singing, shucking and jiving like Kendrick Lamar, the rest of the fucking idiots. Okay. Rick Ross, you name it, doesn't matter. Okay. Kodak, Whack, the rest of them. They're going to be dancing around, acting stupid for their white massa. Yeah, they're not fear. They don't fear you, boy. They don't fear you. You know your place. See, and they know there's a difference there. This is the whole point. They know the distinction between a mulatto and the black. That's what he said. He didn't just say black, black, black. He said the mulatto and the black, and then he said especially the mulatto. Why did he say that? I thought that the mulattoes are just seen as black by the whites. Oh, of course not. And this man, he published this audio like 3 days, a week ago. And I'm subscribed to his channel. I clip this stuff because he's really showing his fear towards mulattoes. Anybody who's showing fear towards mulattoes, I'm watching them. I'm documenting, I'm watching it. And this guy, I've been following this guy for a minute. When he was just talking about, European history, the Jesuit order and the Catholic Church and Christian Protestant Reformation. And I was following this guy. Like, I like to, he's, very astute in the information he presents. And for a minute, I was like, okay, very good information. But over the past couple years, right, he's really started to like fear monger on this whole mulatto thing. And that definitely caught my attention. Like, oh, now I'm really listening. I was kind of listening before. You're talking about, the Jesuits and the Catholic Church and all this stuff. And I was kind of listening to them, but oh, now you're talking about the mulattoes. Now you got my attention. See, these people think, and these whites, these blacks, because remember the blacks, they serve these whites. They think they can just talk about us and say whatever the fuck they want. We're going to sit here like punks. But now we're listening, we're watching, observing, and now we're giving them our counter arguments, right? Let me finish this off. The distinction is highly critically important. He's letting you know he doesn't look at you as all the same. He says the blacks and the mulattoes. He says especially the mulattoes, especially because he fears you more. You're more of a threat. And according to him, why is that? Well, you got the white man's brain. You're going to use that white man's brain against other white people. Listen to this guy.
White man's brain, which is superior to the black man's brain in intellectual capacity. They use the white man's brain in the black man's body against the white people, and it's a judgment of God.
He says these mulattoes, they're going to use their white man's brain that they got from white people against, against white people. So it's not our brain, right? We don't have any ownership. This is the key, the point I'm saying here is that they don't look at you as being your own person, your own entity, your own tribe. And honestly, a lot of you mulattoes don't act like you're a part of a tribe. You act like you're just some subordinate subgroup. I've heard mulatto women, and I'm going to go back, and I know people are not going to like me saying that, but literally with this whole social media endeavor, I can count on my hand at least 3 mulatto women who publicly on YouTube have said that they are a subgroup to blacks. They don't even look at themselves as being this is why they need men. They need, period. They don't even look at themselves as being their own group. They don't look at themselves exercising autonomy, being in their own entity. They look at themselves as being beneath blacks. It's very disgusting. And I've already said, look, if I hear that subgroup shit, okay, you think you're underneath blacks, you're blocked, you're banned for life. You're a mulatto. I'm not going to deal with you. Okay. And I've heard, like I said, I could count on one hand, at least 3 that I can think of right now that have publicly said that. The Owl shows in the chat. He knows who I'm talking about. There was a couple who acted stupid, ran to a Latino guy, some old senior citizen Latino guy, ran to his platform trying to say that they're biracial, they're subgroup to blacks. The Owl show knows what I'm talking about. We're sitting there like, what? What type of shit is that? Like, no other group of people says that crap. But you'll have these, biracial baby mamas trying to fit in with black people who will push that crap. They're not, we got to lay a clear line of distinction. Let know, look, they're over there doing what they want. I'm not claiming them, period. Yeah, they're biracial. Yeah, they're mulatto. Okay, you're in the J. Cole category. Okay, you're in the Buster category over there. You're with the J. Coles, the rest of the punks. Okay, stay over there. Okay. But this guy right here on the screen, he's letting you know you're not the same. And the reason why he's saying that, like, you're using a white man's brain, he's trying to say we don't have our own intellectual capacity. We don't have mulattoes. Like, our struggles, if I want to say that, although life is not, for me, is not a struggle. I'm living pretty fucking good. I love my life. But there's challenges. Everyone else has challenges. That's why I try to reframe it using vocabulary necessary, where it's like our dilemma, our challenges are unique. Other people don't have, right? The struggle for identity, the struggle for purpose, finding a tribe. I'm past that point. I realize I got to just develop my own shit. I'm good with where I'm at, but a lot of other mulattoes, they haven't gotten to that point yet. And I get it. I understand. I sympathize with them. I'm hoping eventually they will. They'll lend their arm out. They'll realize you have somebody here who's here to help you. But this guy is trying to say, like, oh, you're using a white person's brain against white people. Like, he's trying to basically allude that you don't even have your own personhood. You're not your own group of people, that you're just a proxy. You're a utilitarian class of people. And a lot of these blacks look at you the same way. That's the whole point with when I'm talking about here. A lot of these black nationalists, they like Dr. Umar Johnson, their whole thing is if you're not for them, you're against them. They position that argument that way. This is the same thing with this guy. It's not even your own brain, your own mulatto brain, right? It's the white man's brain you're using against white people. How the fuck does that even make sense, guys? Like, and I saw this, like, whenever this guy has mulatto in his fucking mouth, I just screen record right off the bat. Right off the bat, whenever the guy I hear it says mulatto, because I watch a lot of his stuff. Like I said, he talks a lot about European history, and I like the fact that he's proud to be white. Every group of people should be proud of who they are. He likes being white. I like that. I respect him for that. So I don't care. That's his business. But he has mulattoes in his fucking mouth. Okay, well, let me examine this a little closer. Okay. And that's with him, with the rest of them, with the blacks, the Bantu. See, everyone's cool. Like, this one individual's lady. Okay. She's cool if I talk crap or if I mock or joke about the blacks. But once I bring up the white incels, all of a sudden she feels a little uncomfortable. She doesn't like that. I knew this was going to happen as well. I was prepared for you motherfuckers. See, you think it's okay just to clown. It's too easy to clown the community. You don't get any points for that. They clown themselves. Listen to their hip hop shit. Listen to the depravity all over social media, world star hip hop. It's too easy. I don't like, this channel is not positioned that way, where I find a random black who commits a crime and I mock him. It's too fucking easy to do that. You're not proving yourself to be a man. It's not like there's no real win. You can't pound on your chest. Like, everything in my platform is in response, is promoting the mulatto consciousness. People are talking about you mulattoes, and what the fuck are you saying about it? See, I say something about it. Oh, but they don't like what I have to say because I'm not balanced, because I'm not kissing your black baby daddy's rear end, because I'm not a social justice warrior. See, people are mad with my delivery and my position, but I'm like, well, where the hell is your work? What are you doing, to support these mulattoes out here? Give them a voice. Okay. But I don't just clown these random like blacks, like an angry biracial, right? He finds some crime, some black person, man, right? He's a divester platform. He finds a story of a black guy committing a crime, and he wants to talk shit on black men. Like, that's too fucking easy. That's too easy. It's stupid. It's like, you built your platform around that. Okay, congrats, but that's not what I'm doing over here. That's not what I'm doing. So, see, but they're okay with me talking shit. What I'm saying is they're okay with me talking shit about the community. Okay. They're okay. But once I get on these fucking white boys and these fucking incels, all of a sudden they have an issue. And they're, I'm going to talk about it. This one individual over on TikTok, she started to yap, and I knew it was going to be her or someone else. I was going to start the fucking whine. You're calling it a conspiracy. Well, what about, it's like, yeah, I know you fucking people. I was waiting for your ass too. I was waiting for you. I knew you were going to start to cry. I knew it. All right, let me continue on with this.
for race mixing and miscegenating with blacks. Every mulatto you will meet, except very few exceptions, will be very much anti-white.
So when he said that, he said every mulatto you meet, with the very few exceptions, will be extremely anti-white. That's his words. That's his personal experience. This guy is like 60. He's in his late 60s, almost 70. I don't know exactly pinpoint his age. He's an older guy, boomer generation, and I know he's had some trauma. He's had a lot of these mulattoes trying to prove their blackness, so they want to punk a white. I know because I've been there. And my whole thing is I'm telling these mulattoes, do not fight these whites for these blacks. Do not fight any other race, any other group of people for these blacks. You fight for your own integrity, your own dignity, period. Fight for your own autonomy and sovereignty. Do not fight other people's battles, because these blacks, they're so fucking cocky now with Kwame Brown. They're telling you, they're saying you're a crash test dummy. These blacks are so fucking cocky now. They're publicly saying, oh, we used to use you light skins and mulattoes. We used to torture you. We'd use you as a crash test dummy. And you still got mulattoes over here. But so, like I said, I mainly see the women. And people are not going to like me saying that, but I'm going to call it what it is. I mainly see these mulatto women. Okay, they want their little dark skin fucking black boy fan base. So they cape with all the pro-black. See, because they need those black males as protection, as a shield from the black women. Because they can't pull that shit and the pro-black shit, these mulattoes, in front of black women. Black women will check their ass. It's like, bitch, you ain't black. You got a white mama. Fuck out of here. So they need the black males to kind of tether and weasel their way into the black community, provide some legitimacy. We already see the men, we see what's going on. Okay, if you want to get clown, that's on you. Okay, keep acting stupid, that's on you. But the guy here, I put the image of J. Cole. He talked about these mulattoes who are anti-white, and I was trying to find out, well, which ones? Someone in the chat put Jesse Williams, but he's never said anything anti-white though. Just because he caped for blacks, virtue signaler, kind of Holly weird character, that doesn't necessarily make him anti-white. Has he said anything that's against white people's prosperity and sovereignty? I have not seen anything. Okay. Jesse Williams, so that's out of the picture. I was thinking Colin Kaepernick, but I was like, well, Colin Kaepernick's another one. Like, he's caping for blacks and, the police brutality. He's getting paid off by Hulu, Netflix, and the corporations, Ben and Jerry's. They're giving him money with this kind of woke crap and stuff. But he hasn't said anything that, from my understanding, that's anti-white. If you guys say otherwise, you can email me, mulattovanguard@gmail.com. You can message me, put a comment. Like, I haven't seen Colin Kaepernick say anything that's anti-white. So I didn't feel comfortable putting an image up here. Initially, I had a Colin Kaepernick image, but I took it. I was like, wait a second. I don't want to do the guy dirty like that. I don't like the guy like that, but I'm just sitting there like, I can't spread false information. But J. Cole, okay, he's publicly referenced to whites as crackers. Okay, he's publicly made this reference, and we analyze his behavior and how he's positioned himself to be a subordinate to Blackistan. Okay, well, I think I'm within my right to use his image here to say this is legitimately a mulatto guy that you can say, okay, yeah, this is somebody who's questionable. Okay.
And use their intellectual capacity.
This is another individual we could say who's questionable. Okay, this lady here, I did a stream about her 2 years ago. It's kind of old news, but her father passed away. Her father was filthy rich, multimillionaire. She lived in a literal castle. I don't know what state she was in. She's an American woman. But I saw an image of the house that she was, grew up in. It's literally a fucking castle. Like, her father was a multimillionaire. Her father passed away. And I did a stream about this, like I said, 2 years ago. And she was talking crap about her father at the funeral. And she had all these TikTok videos. Look at her fucking red hair, dyeing her hair red, And yeah, and she was talking crap about her father, calling him a Trump supporter and a racist and all this crap. And I'm sitting there like, this is one of these people. Okay. If you want to talk about one of these mulattoes, this is one of these people. Okay. And like I said, I did a stream about her 2 years ago. I was like, we ain't the same. I gotta let it be known. I'm letting it be known to all you motherfuckers. We ain't the same. We're not the same. I don't claim this individual. She doesn't claim me, which is perfectly perfect. That works out perfectly. We gotta let it be known because these other groups, man, they're gonna try to spread these conspiracy theories, try to lump you in with her. They're doing that with Kamala Harris, who's not a mulatta. She's an Indian mom. Mulattas don't have East Indian moms, but they're going to try to lump her up into the same group as us and spread these conspiracies about her, especially these blacks. They're going to try to say that we're all the damn same. No, we're not. It's up to you guys to use your voice to let that be known. Because you let these other people speak for you, they're going to be spreading hate and rumors about your ass. And, you wonder why you get treated a certain way in society. You got to use your voice. Look, to me, I'm in a position now where it's like, yeah, I have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
That they got from their white parent against us. NAACP, that was set up.
Yeah, basically saying that, we're using our white intellectual capacity against whites. Make that make sense. We're using our white brain against whites. That doesn't make any fucking sense. If we had a white brain, wouldn't we be super pro-white, helping whites out? How the hell are we using our white brain against whites? That guy has already exposed himself. He himself is against, white people as well. A lot of these pro people, these pro whites and pro blacks, they're actually against their own damn group anyways, too. They just want power and influence. It's all a fucking con game. It's a grift. I noticed that with him too. He's just mad because in white society, he's a nobody. He's nobody. He's nobody. Okay? So he wants to maintain relevancy amongst his group, and he has his audience, just like everyone else, the pro-blacks, even me over here. I have my little audience, right? Never said I was special. That's the difference. Never said I was special. Just trying to give people an option. Look at this image here. We're going to move on to this. Now, this image is very, very offensive and very, very thought-provoking. And I shared this image I found it on X, which is formerly known as Twitter. I found it over there, but I shared it on TikTok. And I knew that they were going to flag this shit and remove the post because that's how TikTok operates. TikTok is pro-black, pro-LGBT, pro-communist, okay? And they're anti-mulatto voices, period. Okay? So I already knew they were going to remove this post, especially because it says here, like a good pet monkey, LOL. It's like a white cop guy. And you can see the bot. He has a leash on. It's like a monkey body, but it's like a black humanoid or African humanoid kind of face, right? That alone, it's a lot of people are not going to like this image, okay? And it puts here, according to the rules of my white master, you must consider yourself like us. Otherwise, you are my enemy. And it's like, LOL, okay. It's like a Dominican flag. It's supposed to be a Dominican guy. I found this from a Dominican page, right? And of course, people can say what you want. It's anti-black. It's racist. Okay, well, okay, that's fine. You guys have used that argument so much, nobody cares. The point is here, the context. Now, as a mulatto American man, and I look at this and I shared it on TikTok knowing it was going to get flagged. They're going to remove it. That's fine. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Like this whole social media, I haven't even looked into monetizing this channel. I have all the watch hours and subscribers. I don't care. You people can kiss my ass. I'm going to talk my shit. You're going to fucking listen. That's what you're going to do. If I make $1 off this, it doesn't matter. It's going to come eventually. I've already made money doing this with donations and consultations and other stuff. The revenue is there to be made. Regardless, I'm not trying to be, let me continue on with this. The point is the context of the quote here. According to the rules of my white master, you must consider yourself like us, the one drop rule, the weaponization of the one drop rule, right? And if you don't consider yourself like a black, you're the enemy. This is literally how they, and I say like Dr. Umar Johnson, these pro blacks, they literally openly position themselves like that. And how many people call them out? How many people call out Dr. Umar and put videos out there like, this guy's a fucking enemy to anybody who's mixed race or multiracial? I don't see anybody saying that. I really don't. Or Dominican people that got to publicly shout out to the Dominicans. I got a lot of supporters, especially over on TikTok, who are, who are calling this crap out. And they get a lot of flack because of it. Oh, you're just anti-black. And they use the colorist argument with Dominicans. With me, you can say whatever the fuck you colorist. I don't care. I laugh at you. You're a darkie. I'll laugh at you. Okay. But the colorism thing, they use that with Dominicans a lot. And I feel like, yeah, that's one of their main arguments to use with them. With us, it doesn't mean shit because I'm a light-skinned mulatto guy. Oh, you weak and you sassy, you light-skinned. So I'm like, the colorism shit, it doesn't work with me because you dumb savages have been talking shit about Drake and light-skinned men being weak and soft. The colorism stuff, you got to just find something else to cry about. Because you people are the biggest colorist out here, and all the information is out here. See, they can play that game with the Dominicans, the whole colorism stuff. They can't play the colorism game with the light-skinned mixed biracial men, because we have been on the receiving end of that colorism stuff for literally a decade. Now, like I said, I'm not with these savages. I didn't grow up in their hood and all this shit. I don't deal with them like that. So I didn't grow up in their environment where they're sitting there, oh man, you weak and you light skin, blah, blah, blah. I didn't grow up around these people. Right. But I analyze this information on the internet and I see this stuff and I'm like, okay, yeah, a lot of these guys have got it tough. You're a light skinned guy. You grew up around the dark blacks and all this crap. They're trying to punk you and shit. Say you're weak because you're light skinned. Like that is the epitome of colorism. Like what they've done to these light skinned guys. Try to punk them and say they're weak and are sassy. Like there's nobody more colorist than blacks. What they've done to these light-skinned black. I'm sitting there thinking like, what the fuck? So they can't use that argument with someone like me. They can't say that. They can't say the colorist. I don't care. You're not my people. But they do that with the Dominicans. Oh, you're colorist. You're anti-Haitian or anti-black and all this stuff. So, but everything we see here in this comment here, where it's like, look, Dr. Umar and the rest of the pro-wax, they position it as that same thing, where it's like, if you don't identify with us, you're our enemy. Oh, I guess I'm your enemy. Okay, what the fuck you do? What are they going to do? They're going to run back to their white massa and cry and complain. They're going to try to cancel you. That's what they're going to do, especially on TikTok. They're going to report your posts. They're going to report your videos. Let's report him. And I had some dumb idiot on X, on Twitter, like over a year ago, the head ninja in hiding, some pro-whack FBA idiot who's like, let's report his channel, Mulatto Vanguard. Let's report him. He's talking crap about blacks. He's anti-black. Let's report. Who are you going to report me to, boy? To your white massa. That's right. All these fucking savages. Who are they going to report me to? Who are they going to tell? You see who's holding that leash of that beast right there? Who is it? That's the white massa. That's who they're going to report you to. That's who they're going to tell you on. Oh, you don't like my delivery. You don't like the words I'm saying. Oh, you're a social justice warrior. You got a black baby daddy. You don't like how I frame the argument, Mulatto Vanguard. You could be a lot nicer in how you say that. But see, they don't have to be nice with you. Isn't that great? Isn't that beautiful? That's what I love about it. Like, nobody has to be nice to you, you mulattoes. Everybody can just fucking punk you and shit on you and spit on you in society. But you got to be nice to everybody. I love it. I love it because my main opposition is not black people in the community. Now, I might share a meme like this, very highly offensive. I agree. It's very thought-provoking. But you have to understand, black people are not the main people who are hating on me, who don't like what I have to say. It's these bitch ass, punk ass fucking mulattoes who serve these blacks. These are the main ones who have an issue with everything I'm telling you and I'm saying right now, period. And I've known that it's been that way from day one. And I knew that getting into this. This is going to be the main challenge you have. It's going to be the black identified mulattoes who their whole life existence, instead of being their own entity, their own personhood, they want to serve black people. This is the main people who are going to be your opposition, because everything in this meme right here is part and parcel with what we see in society. This is what it is. Like, if they don't like what you say, they're going to say, you got to identify with me. If you don't, you the enemy. Dr. Umar. Any mulattoes calling him out? No, they're silent. I'm calling them out. I'm the bad guy. Right. And okay. And then they tell on me. And who are they going to tell? They're going to tell their white massa. This is how it operates. This is how it works. Can you tell me I'm lying? Can you tell me I'm fucking lying? Please, guys. I know you guys, you're getting mighty quiet now. I got a bunch of you up in the chat, but you mighty quiet now. You gonna screen record and you gonna prove Mulatto Vanguard. Yeah, fuck you, ho. I've been here for 2 years. And I'm saying the same shit I've been saying. I just laugh at this. Like, this is, I didn't schedule this live. This is a Sunday night. Tomorrow's Labor Day. What the fuck? Do you think I really care? This is what it is. Am I afraid I'm going to lose subscribers or quote unquote supporters? No. Clearly, you see how bold I am. Doesn't matter. You'll easily be replaced. There's too many people are realizing that there's an issue going on right now. Why is it okay for people to disrespect you, your personhood, your identity as a mulatto, but when you do the same to them, they want to act like it's out of bounds? It's an issue. This is the point I'm trying, and I'm irritated because the main people who have an issue with that, it's not black people, it's not white people, it's mulattoes who identify as a black, who have an issue with that. That's the issue. It's very, very annoying. I'm going to say that. So what do I have next? Let me pull up something that I saw because of that meme. I guess I can actually pull up that meme again and receive the comment. Man, TikTok is a trip. TikTok is clearly biased, anti-mulatto. That's why I hop my ass over here and talk my shit, because what's the point? You think I'm going to go live over there? They fucking shut my live down and report all my comments and report everything. What's the point? Go where you have more of kind of a level playing field. I feel like YouTube, more of a level playing field, and other platforms. But so I shared this meme, right? And honestly, what it wasn't even this meme. Like, I know people, they reported it, they didn't like it. I don't share that meme here on YouTube. I shared it on TikTok. They reported it. I think I shared it or reposted on X, on Twitter. But what it was actually this video that I did that this one individual, see, because now that I'm talking about these white nationalists, now you got these people getting in their little feels. See, they're okay with me talking shit about blacks, which is, you don't get no brownie points for that. It's too fucking easy. You don't get no points for that. Everyone else is doing it. And it's very sad because the blacks are doing it to them damn selves. Like, I mean, all these platforms like Tommy Sotomayor and all these divester channels where all they do is talk crap about other blacks, and Candace Owens, like all these people, like everyone else is doing that crap anyways. They're black, Thomas Sowell, and they're talking crap on blacks. So it's like that market's already there. It's pretty dumb. Like, you're not gonna get points for doing that. Redundant. We've already said it all already. Okay, what else is there? My whole position is, why are these blacks so fucking cocky? Like, what happened? Why is it with other demographics they're kind of careful because they're trying to still maintain the kind of partnerships and relationships with other groups. But with mulattoes, they're literally going to spread fucking conspiracies about you. They're going to call you a half breed, a mutt, and all this shit. but then at the same time, they want you to like still be in their group. Because to me, I heard the half-breed stuff enough a few times from some of these savages, the Black Authority. I was like, I'm out of here. You've already positioned yourself as my enemy. I'm going to deal with you accordingly. I'm going to be over here strategizing. And so I got the point. Several years ago, I realized, okay, these are my enemies over here. Let me act accordingly. But they're very cocky and they sit there and talk to you like that, but then they still want you to be in their group. It's very bizarre. Why do they think that way? Why? Who's empowering them? Who's endorsing them? It's their white massa. Okay. And people don't want to talk about that. So, and I did this video here, you see
these mulattoes
talking about they fear the future. And I uploaded that video, this video, you see, over on on TikTok. I uploaded this video over on TikTok, and I had some individual who didn't like that. And I know she's a white lady who's followed me. See, because she's cool with me talking shit about the blacks, like laugh at the little stupid memes and all this shit. Really? Right? They're okay with that, and that's fucking easy to do. Everyone else is doing it. Like I said, you don't get no points for that. You're just stating the obvious. You know these people are fucked up. They were conquered. They were enslaved. They got issues. They're trying to spread their pathology on everyone else. I'm just telling the mulattoes, look, if they're not paying you, why are you even dealing with them? Like, they want you to be confused like them. So this lady had an issue with me sharing this because I called it a conspiracy that these people, they're blaming Jews, right? For why a lot of these white boys are incels and they can't get white women. They're not trying hard enough or something. And she's out here talking about, let me see what I'm she sent me a message, so I'm going to, protect the kind of integrity. And I'm reading the message. She basically was trying to tell me where it's like, oh, well, you have an issue. Let me see. She says, I complain because I did a couple videos, like in that video I just shared. Let me share it again. About the when the white boys are talking shit about mixed children, as you can see here, right? They don't show the white woman animalistically. They really don't even show the black guys animalistic. They kind of make them look stupid with animated kind of features and stuff. But that mixed child, this representation is supposed to be a mixed child. They make the mixed child look like a fucking mutant, like an animal. That's because that's symbolizing the white male incel, the fear that they have for the mulatto male, as they look as a potential political threat, a competitor. So they, in their cartoons, their propaganda, their memes, they look at this mulatto, they try to like make it look like a mutant, like an animal, like non-human. That's how they justify their hatred. And I share this and I'm like, well, wait a second, the children are off limits. Well, why? And I did this video, I did the other video. I'm going to do more because I started to analyze their posts over on X. They don't have an issue. And I talked about this in this video. That's why the title is They Fear the Future. They don't have an issue with this black Bantu. They don't have an issue with that white woman. They're against interracial relationships, blah, blah, blah. They have an issue with that mulatto male child, period. And I point this out and I'm trying to tell my audience, you guys better wake up and smell the fucking coffee and pay attention. And I had this person, this white lady, who she's followed me over on TikTok, and she likes it when I clown black people. Like it's so difficult to do, right? And the blacks, they clown mulattoes, so they're just getting their, just due. Like they're getting back what they receive. That's how the world works, and people don't like that. Well, fucking tough. But she has an issue when I basically challenge and I point out the fact, well, wait a second. These blacks got a white paymaster. Okay. They're serving these whites, hating on these mulatto males. They look as a competitor. She didn't like that. She doesn't like that. She's afraid the truth is going to get exposed over here. So she basically put in the comments, she was trying to tell me like, oh, it's a contradiction. You don't like it when the white boys talk crap about mixed children, yet, you share memes about, and I'm sitting there like, okay, the meme that I share, let me share it again. There's no children on this meme. And I told this lady that. I told this individual, I was like, children are off limits. Nothing on any of my platforms, any videos, any commentary has to do with anything negative regarding children. This is an adult platform. Everything and I critique is from an adult perspective, from other adults, or me challenging other adults. And I shared this on TikTok. It got removed. Clearly it's offensive, right? And which is fine. I don't care. But the thing is, like, I shared this and I told her false comparison, and she knows she's a fucktard. Okay, she's in the wrong. She's mad because I'm challenging the white nationalists, which I already knew her and others are going to start crying. Okay, and I'm like, I shared this, but there's no children in this post. But when but you look at these white nationalists, the white incels. Okay, they're talking shit about mulatto children. As I shared the video. You look at right here. They got all these memes all over their, Twitter or X threads and all this crap where they're trying to, basically in a cartoonish way, animation, make the mulatto male child look like a fucking animal. Not even an animal, like a mutant, like non-human. They don't do that to the white women. All these animations and cartoons. This is, guys, I got a lot more I'm going to share with you guys. That's what I'm saying. This is like an introduction. That's why I put here part 1. They fear the future, part 1. This is just introduction. This is the first thing. I got a lot more I'm going to share. And they're threatened and they're fearful of the mulatto male and what the future has. Right? They don't even do the dirty like the black males, right? They don't, because they know the black males kiss their white ass. All these football players, all the Kendrick Lamar fans, all these savages, Tariq Nasheed. Doesn't Tariq Nasheed got like a white boy producer or something? Or doesn't he have like Mink Slide or something like that? He's got like, you know, all these fucking savages, man. They love their white massa. See, they're upset with you mulatto men. You mulatto men, a lot of you punks, you haven't figured it out yet. And I'm saying punks because those of you who are pro-whack, who have an issue with what I'm got to say, yeah, you're a fucking punk. Yeah, you're a punk. Show me you can do with what I'm doing. Okay, because I don't see that many. I don't see nobody, to be honest with you. Nobody else. I just don't see it. I'm the only guy that I see right here. I'm tooting my own horn. Yeah, I guess I'm tooting my own horn. But what other mulatto man out here is talking this shit like this? I just do not see it. I do not see it. So going back to what the lady, she was trying to make this kind of comparison that, oh, you're talking crap about these white incels and their racist memes, but you're sharing racist memes. And I'm like, look, my whole position, if the white incels want to talk shit about me, which they are eventually, once I, start blabbing my mouth more, they'll take notice of me. They'll talk crap about me. I have no issue. Like, if people want to do these memes about adults and talking crap, okay, but why the fuck are they talking about the children? And that was what I was trying to point out to her. Why are they talking about these mulatto children? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, these people are mad that now that I'm getting on their ass. They thought it was all gravy, that I was just going to check, just laugh at the blacks and do these memes or whatever, talk crap. But that's too easy. Like, they do it to themselves. Like, their whole position is to be court gestures for white approval. Like, they just want like white approval. Like, I don't need white approval. That's the difference. See, this is what we're seeing here. So going back to nationalism or supremacy, because the first comment that I read, the guy was saying, well, don't call it white nationalism, blah, 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 right? All this kind of academic jargon where he highlights the, right here. He highlights black, but he undercases white, right? Call it anti-black. Use more precise term like anti-black, because that's what it is. No, it's anti-mulatto men. It's not anti-black. They love the blacks. Okay. They know the blacks going to throw the football around, dance around like Kendrick Lamar. They're anti-mulatto men. Period. Okay. We call a spade over here around these parts. What do you guys have to say about that? I'm going to drop the link We've been about 2.5 hours into this. I'm not going to be here up all night. It's already late, but I got a little bit of time tonight. So if you guys are so inclined to, you can hop up here and tell me what you agree or disagree with. I really don't care. The fact is, people don't want this truth. They don't want this information out here. Regardless, it's going to get out here. They're going to try to cancel my ass over on TikTok, which basically it's already kind of effective. TikTok is pro-black, pro-LGBT, anti-mulatto. We get it. That's why I don't operate that much over there. But it's all good. I'm over on YouTube. As long as I kind of play my cards right, can stay up here. But there's other platforms. This is how it's going to be. It's dumb because a mulatto male child is half of their race too. They are actually insulting themselves. Yeah. Well, they're the weakest they've ever been throughout history. And this is what they don't want the public to understand, which is very obvious. I mean, we're half white, so we get it. That's why they fear us. They fear us, like the guy said, they use their white brain against white people. They fear us because we know them better than a lot of them know us. That's what they fear. Because white people fear other white people. That's why they're going to war with each other, the Russians and Ukrainians who are genetically the same people. Heritage, even language-wise, they speak the same language, but they're literally going to war, like super carnage, right? Violence over territory and etc. So, and that's with regards to us, it's similar situation where there's a fear element there. Right. And I've always said this with my platforms with the blacks, the Bantus, dark skins, they're jealous of us. They don't fear us. What they fear is that we will break away from them and have our own communities and we'll basically laugh at them because they can't compete with us. Right. So they fear that we'll break away from them. But more than that, they're jealous of us. They're jealous that they're white massa. We're more palatable to other races of people, to Latinos, Asians, other races of people. They look at us and they're more favorable to us than the darker skinned Bantu. So with them, it's more jealousy, but with the white, it's more, there's a fear there. There's a fear because they know that we know and they're fearful of that. Okay, tell me I'm lying. I would love to hear you guys what your take is. How can people learn about us and get used to us if we are always changing it up? It doesn't serve us. We change so much instead of just being who we are, staying the same and letting other people get used to us. Yeah. Mixed people in America tend to not have standards when it comes to how we interact with other races. We always want to change depending on who we are around. Yet no one does that for us. And that's the whole power imbalance that we see. This is how I've positioned myself, where it's like I'm against that 100%. I am very stern and staunch. And that's why you hear my brash delivery where I'm like, fuck that. Everybody wants us to act a certain way, to placate to their sensibilities. Okay, let's just kind of help them feel comfortable. They don't have to do none of that to you. And you're outnumbered with a lot of people. You're a minority in a lot of situations. Most, I would say. Okay. In the future, it's going to look a little different. Okay. If we play our cards right, then we will definitely have a lot of advantages. But if you want to just be absorbed and just give this away, that's on you. Yeah, but nobody has to basically, walk on eggshells or, around you, but they expect you to do that to them. Right. That's the issue that I see. That's like the thing with my platform and everything I'm saying. Like, that's the thing I see where it's like, no, I don't feel comfortable in that existence. I don't. And if I got to be the bad guy, I'm the fucking bad guy. I do not feel comfortable where people can talk however the hell they want about us, expect us to act a certain way, but they have the liberty to do whatever they want. I don't think so. And see, a lot of people are going to be mad that I'm challenging basically the white paymasters of these Bantus. Because we know the Bantus, they serve whites. I mean, they're too cocky to say what they're saying. I don't see Asians talking shit about mulattoes. I don't see it. I don't see Hispanics talking shit about mulattoes. I'm sure there are some who are. To the degree of these white incels and these blacks, I don't see it. I do not see it. I mainly see the white incels, not the white women, the white boy incels, and the blacks, black men and black males and females. Okay, talking shit about mulattoes. That's it. I'm surprised no mulatto, not mixed people call out Charlemagne the fraud, right? When he was being racist towards mixed people recently. Yeah, none of, because a lot of these mulattoes, that's why I boldly publicly said a lot of them are punks, man. It sucks. It's fucking sad to say that, and people are gonna twist it and throw it at me that you're anti-mix and anti-biracial, even though you're biracial. Because you, you talk shit about them. Your behavior is very telling. Like, you're not going to use your voice to call out these people. Like, Charlatan the fraud is pro dark skinned men, anti biracial light skinned men, as that's normal in their community. That's how a lot of them are. That's how Dr. Umar is. That's how Tariq Nasheed is. That's how Kendrick Lamar is with the whole not like us. He's got a mixed race, light skinned wife talking shit about the mixed race, light skinned man, Drake. Like, that's common in their group, in their community. And I don't see that many people. I mean, light skin history, shout out to him. You got Four Light, shout out to Four Light. You got the gentleman, his name's Patrick. I share a lot of his stuff, especially over on my other channel, Mulatto Vanguard. Dude's name is Patrick. Shout out to him. So I'm very, that's why I love sharing his stuff. I'm very thrilled that I'm seeing other men who are starting to call a spade a spade. I'd like to see more. I know MLS people in the chat. Let me see. He says right here, pro-black mulatto women. Yeah. There's a lot of them, more than the men. And people aren't gonna like me saying that, but it's true. But shout out to him because I see the content he's pushing, right? And I support him 100%. The content I see, and like I said, with the other gentleman, Patrick, and Four Light and Light Skin History and some of these other channels, like I see your guys' content and I really support it because this is what you guys see, the dynamic where we need more people though to call out the hypocrisy. And there's women who call it out, right? In the comments, I typically see that. And there are content creators, I can't name their names now, that are like in the exotical spaces or other like black female spaces where they're basically calling it out, where like the Kendrick types where they like the light skinned women, but they don't like the men. I know there's a lot of black women who've called it out. Respect to them. I just don't have their names to at the top of my head to say that, but I respect it if they understand what the deal is, right? But I just wish I would see more men for sure definitely call it out, because if there's like a handful of us and I can name them off the top of my head, it's like, well, what the fuck? There should be we should all of our channels should be pointing this out. How the way that things are operating right now, this is no bueno. Like, we cannot continue to do this. And you put here pro-black mulatto women. Yeah, but they're pro-black men, right? They're pro-black men. And if they're pro-black women, they're going to be underneath the darker skinned women. That's how intersectionality works. But they need the black men to get protection from the black women. So they're in a very tricky situation. So, and for them as well, it's like a shaming ritual that light skin history talks about, where they have to basically hate on light skinned men to be in good standing with the dark skinned males, right? That's how they have to position themselves. And I see a lot, especially on TikTok. Yeah. If they want to be in good standing with their black male audience, because they got nothing but black males in their chat, you look at them, you're like, wait a second. You're a pro woman, you're a female. How is it that your audience is women? Like, because I'm looking at my chat right now as I'm talking to you guys live. I have a pretty good blend of women and men. I got you're a dude. I got Keith here, mulatto woman, Northern Light. Shout out to you. And I got Val, mulatto woman. And I got a male here from South African colored. Shout out to you. And then I got another male here. Like, so I look at, there's like a balance here when I analyze my chat, but there's a lot of these kind of pro-black mulattoes that I see on TikTok. It's nothing but dark-skinned black males in their chat. And I'm sitting there like, what the hell? Not even a couple chicks. You don't got a couple feminists up in there. No, you got nothing but dark-skinned black. Yeah, we all see the game. Okay. We see it for what it is. So the link has been dropped. No one's gonna hop up here. I'm not gonna be up here all night. Fuck that. I got to skedaddle and go on with other important endeavors. You put here, any other time these white supremacists say to whites if they're race mix their kids with lower IQs. I don't know. Because the whites race mix with Latinos every day. No one says shit. Because it's a pathway to citizenship, right? It's a simulation, which is like a what do you call, like it's like a explicit basically policy that they've always had. They've always had like this policy where they will allow the Latinos, especially like Cubans or Mexicans or Hispanics, to fuse into the white group, the white body politic, right? And their children will typically be mostly white, but you can kind of tell, you look at them, you're a Mexican. You got a white daddy or white mommy. Yeah. You don't look Anglo-Saxon to me, and not me. Okay. You can fool these dark-skinned blacks, but not me. But they allow them basically into their group. They kind of have an unwritten kind of agreement that they don't want the full public to be aware of. That assimilation package they allow to them and other Arabs, etc. With Asians, it's kind of difficult for them to pull that because Asians have very strong genes. Like I said, they're Happas. They for sure look way more Asian than European. So the Happas have a more unique dilemma as far as finding their place, which they're doing. I really love to see Hapa people are beautiful people. And I love the fact that I'm seeing them embrace their identity. You have the Hapa Issues Forum. I follow a couple Hapa ladies on Instagram who basically have developed their own platforms based off being Hapa. I love it. It's so beautiful to see that with them. Okay. And yeah. You put these black journalist channels, all they do is brag about the first they land in these third world countries. Yeah. Yeah, it's that white brain. We're using our white brain against white people. That's pretty dumb. It would basically show the deficiency of them in how their position right now is weaker than it's ever been throughout history. How the hell can you have a white brain that's against white people? Like, that's a reflection on them. They're trying to blame it on us mulattoes, trying to say we're duplicitous. Because I'm telling you, the black supremacists, they pull the same shit these white supremacists pull. It's the same arguments. It's the same crap. Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Umar, all these black supremacists were getting paid off by whites. It's the same crap. They try to say, oh, well, we're siding with the enemy. We're using our white side, right, to undermine them and all this crap. You guys see how the rhetoric basically is congruent with the white supremacists and the black supremacists, how there's the same arguments. They're trying to say we're using our white brain again. That just shows their deficiency. How that if your white brain, as the guy put, he said it's superior. Well, if the brain is superior, the intellectual capacity, how the hell can it be used against you for your own demise? That doesn't sound so superior to me. But hey, who am I? I'm just this no good mulatto guy. I'm an agitator, a troublemaker, even though they're paying off the blacks to fucking neutralize us. Fuck out of here. They're mad we're calling it out. They're mad that we have a microphone now. And shout out to the guy, the Creole dude. His name is Mr. Mulatto. Shout out to him because he made a very valid point where he was basically like, what a lot of these people are mad about is that we know, like, we're not trying to get accepted by blacks or whites. We just like ourselves as who we are, being mulatto. Like, and they're more upset with us for that fact. That's what it is. Even with these blacks, like, it's easy to laugh at them. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to be accepted by you people. I'm not like you. Oh, I'm going to tell my white master. My white master is going to tell you the one drop rule. You still like you still a black. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not like you people. Like, I think they're mad about that, man. I don't think I know. They're mad that they see mulattoes like me or like shit. I don't give a fuck if you people don't accept me. I'm not trying to be accepted by you people. You're not my people. They're mad about that. Something about that's very childish. How the hell are you going to like push us out of your little group call us half breeds and you don't belong. The whites don't accept you. The blacks don't accept you. You a tragic mulatto. Okay, I'll be a tragic mulatto over here. Fuck, I'm not like you people. And they're still mad. They're still hating. Like, how does that work, man? I don't get. You wish you were us. You wish you were mixed. And we see you people. You're trying to claim your Creole, with your -7% European DNA, trying to claim you're an Indian and shit. We see you people. Oh, I'm indigenous. I'm an FBA pro-black. Right? All African Americans are mixed. We see you blacks trying to claim you're mixed now. Like you've given, you've showed your hand, man. Like you're trying to act like you're one of us. You're not fucking mixed. It's just it's too easy. It's too easy. I'm getting bored. Okay, this is basically the whole synopsis of this whole stream. It's gotten too easy now. I'm bored now. I need to move on and I need to do something that's more kind of motivating because there's a level of redundancy for the past 2 years. When the meme I shared like this type of stuff, like it's so obvious what you're dealing with here. Let me share this. Where is it at? This one's not it. Let me go to the next one. Okay, this one. This is it. What you're seeing, it's so obvious. The power dynamic. It's too easy. I'm kind of bored now. It's redundant. This is what you're dealing with here. Like they're on a leash from their white paymasters. Why are they so cocky on social media? They're even talking shit about these whites. But it's funny because all they got the jokes is you don't season your chicken, you ain't season your chicken, all this stuff. It's very pathetic that that's the best they got. But it's like in my position, I'm like, well, this is what you're dealing with here. They're on a tight leash from their white massa who they're trying to get approval from. Okay. And they want to talk shit. They want to tell you got to identify with them. Just be a subgroup. See, they like the biracial baby mamas who want to be a subgroup. But then they talk to the men, they realize, oh, it's a different story. Nah, I'm going to fight your ass too. Different situation over here. Let me see what we got. Says all these immigrants don't have the same values and are growing. And that's why both groups are upset. Exactly. Yeah, they're upset because they're getting outperformed by Asians, right? They know the Jews are smarter than them. They know the Jews are more fiscally conservative with their money. They try to like make it seem like a bad thing. Like, oh, you Jews, you're stingy. They're just mad the Jews are better with money than them, better at business. They can dominate all these businesses, like even the adult film industry. And then they try to spread a conspiracy. Like, oh man, they're trying to show these blacks with these white women. I'm like, bro, in that same industry, you got all these websites with white men and black women. I even called somebody a ghetto gagger. They have a whole website that's been popular for years where you got black women who are like getting paid to degrade themselves from white men. And that whole industry, it's mostly white men who have the money for the production, for the cameras and all that to pay these women to perform these acts. It's like that whole industry has been dominated for years. Like these white guys like have full access to all these women. But see, they only cry and complain when it's a black male that gets access to women. Then see, I'm trying to point that out. I'm trying to point out the hypocrisy, and I'm doing it from all sides. The white males, the black males, because they work together against a mulatto man. Okay. And because of that, okay, well then it's open game now. Oh, but mulatto, you're just a minority. It's only a few of you. There's more of them. How long are you going to be a fucking pussy? Because in the whole golden sphere, I've dealt with these pussies who are crying it, oh, well, there's not that many of us. We got to be on the same team as the light-skinned blacks and all these other groups, and we got to just hide here because I don't want that smoke. I've seen these pussies, the same pussies who are talking shit about me, okay, who are tagging me in videos and posts and all this stuff. These are the same pussies. Oh, well, we don't have the numbers. I don't want that smoke from them. Some weak fucking pussy shit. You wonder why you're not at the forefront of this discussion. The public can see that. Like, you got to call a spade a spade. Am I making myself a target? Yeah. That's par for the course. It is what it is. Like, to me, this is it. This is it. You got to call it out. You got to call it out. Nobody else is calling it out. I'm going to call it out. Everywhere when it becomes overly secular, the country's culture and population experience a decline. Yeah, they're mad these other groups are becoming more competitive. These East Asians, right? They're really slandering the East Asians out in the UK, especially. I see that with the white nationalists out in the UK. They're really like targeting East Asians all over X. Like, they're really going in on them right now, which is kind of their own fault because they've been a lot of white ass kissers. Some of the biggest white ass kissers on the planet have been these East Asians. Excuse me. Pause. Let me rephrase that. East Indians. Sorry. Let me correct myself. Some of the biggest white ass kissers I've ever seen on the fucking planet are East Indians, South Asians, Indian, Pakistani. Okay. Pause. I know I said East Asian. Let me scratch it out. Apologize. No, they're actually competing with the Anglos for power. It's been these East Indians and South Asians, and they're getting their work now. Now you got these white nationalists all over. I see in the UK talking crazy shit about these Indians, and I'm sitting back like, it's not my battle. I don't care. I've seen you people darker than me, way fucking darker than me, brown, dark brown skin, the biggest fucking white ass kissers I've ever seen in my fucking life. You'll never find, you know, a black guy, a Bantu, dark skinned African who's a bigger white ass kisser than some of these fucking East Indians. I swear to God, there's no race or ethnic group on the planet I've ever seen who's been a bigger white worshiper, a bigger Anglo worshiper than these East Indians. And that's part of the reason why these Anglo nations have brought in all these damn, East Indians. Because they know they're fucking, very acquiescent. And I know people are not gonna like me saying that. Why do you think all these Commonwealth nations in the UK, okay, in the UK, where they're basically running shit now, and then the United States, they have, not to the same degree, not at all. But even Kamala is half East Indian. But then you got like in Canada, all the Commonwealth nations and the South Africa, they got all these East Indians. Like, they are super acquiescent to white people. The biggest white ass kissers I've ever seen in my fucking life have been these East Indians. Oh, but you don't want me saying that, Mulatto Vanguard, you're being offensive. They got the blacks beat. It's sad. I'll publicly say that. I don't give a damn. Any of you people don't fucking like it. It's that bad. They literally worship in, the ground that whites walk on. And whites know it. That's why they have very kind of complimentary immigration, process for them to come on to UK. And then they took over the whole fucking, and now they're crying about it over on X. It's funny. Really funny. Yeah. What else is there to say about that? Well, they're outperforming. That's the thing. They're outperforming. They got their businesses intact. They have very high income, especially in the United States. As far as home ownership and household income, they outperform the whites, even with their small demographic. They're like 1% of the population in the United States are people who are ethnic, racially East Indian. But they're very acquiescent and docile to whites, more than the blacks will ever be. So, and now they're paying the price for that because now the whites are clowning their ass. Whatever. You reap what you sow. Isn't that what they say? Both black and white Americans have become, yeah, I think I read that. Oh, wait, no. As it's negative, become over secularized, as it has negative impacts on their population and culture. So instead of addressing it, they blame mixed people, immigrants, and Jews, period. Yeah. And at the conspiracy, see, with the whites, they don't want to admit that they're at the weakest point they've ever been historically. Okay. They don't want to admit that their own women are creating mutiny with them. competing with them for power, the feminazis and the white feminists and all this crap. They don't want to admit that they're in a very fragile position. So they got to find a scapegoat. They blame the Jews and they say, well, the Jews, they're using media to basically influence their own group, their own people. I thought their intelligence was superior, but they're obviously easily, subdued by Jewish controlled media. Yeah, so they're not so intellectually smart. That's the whole position here. They want to blame the Jews for like with the media. It's like, why don't you go tune into another media source? Go listen to Alex Jones or fucking Turning Point, Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, whatever incel. Why don't you go tune into them? Okay. Oh, but that's right. They're financed. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They all work together. Okay. So they blame the Jews, but then they see the threat is not the Jewish male. The threat is the mulatto, because I'm going to share more information I see on their post, their little cartoons and memes, where it's the mulatto child, which is a male. They're not talking about the mulatto women, right? They're afraid that the male is going to grow. They're trying to create the image that they're an animal, they're mutants, right? Ugly, non-desirable. They want to tarnish the image of the mulatto male child. And because they're afraid, they know when the mulatto child becomes a male competitor, military age, they're not going to be underneath the boots of the white males. They know that. This is what they're fearful of. They know the blacks are lockstep with them because all these blacks are kissing their ass and all the football field, football courts, all that shit. That's what they do. That's their job. And I'm just trying to tell the mulattoes, you're going to follow them. You know what I mean? You're going to, like J. Cole, you want to be a little J. Cole fucking pussy serving them, and you'll never be great. You'll just be another rapper with all the other damn rappers. You'll never be great. You're just a J. Cole guy. I'm not saying I'm special. I'm not making the money J. Cole's making, all this crap. But yeah, let's see. The blame the immigrants. Yeah, they took our jobs. And then blame the mixed people. Yeah, they're their own children, right? Fucking idiots. They're blaming their own children, right? And then they blame the Jews, even though they all work with them. They're cool with Ben. They love Ben Shapiro. They love all these people, as long as they're talking crap about blacks and other people, right? They're cool with all these people, man. They just pick and choose when to fucking turn on their ass. Same thing, like I said, with these East Indians. They were cool with all these East Indians. Yeah, use them as a buffer class because they're brown skin. Let's use them as a buffer class. Have the whites, then use the browns, have the blacks at the bottom. But see, the Browns got so much power now, taking over government positions. You look at the UK, they got, what's the dude, the mayor of London, the prime minister of the UK, of England and shit. Like now they got all these, Indians competing for power in politics. Now they got an issue now. See, it was okay when they can contain them to use them as a buffer class, right, with these blacks. But they're like, oh, now you're getting more power. So now they got to basically humiliate them publicly. But because like I said, with that specific demographic, because they kiss white ass so much, it's really despicable. I mean, they kind of asked for it, Never forget the rich and famous, beautiful Halle Berry got with a white man and had a kid with him, and he calls both of them the N-word with the hard R. Yeah. And I'm laughing because it's like, yeah, whatever. She didn't want to get with the mulatto man, so that's on her. If it can happen to Halle Berry, then it could happen to any mulatto women. Yeah. She's a great actress, but we already know she's kind of, I like most of her movies I've seen her in, but as a cool role model, I mean, I promote her as on the page. I think she's she's a very good looking woman, but she doesn't embrace being mulatto. Let's be honest. She acts like she's just a black person. Even her children are like white. I mean, she has her partner is white, so she's half white. So her children are mostly white, and she'll try to blackwash or one drop her own children as black. So it's like someone like that, or like that one individual, another mulatta, same shit. It's Paula Patton, right? pulling the same crap. It's just super black identified, one dropping their own kids. They get with these white guys. You're a mulatto. You got a white mama and you got a white husband. And you want to sit there and act like your kids are black. I'm like, bro, you're not going to get any. I mean, let me just leave it there. Mixed people get dragged into black people's gender war. Exactly. That's one of the main things, with the whole black mom and black dad biracial dynamic. A lot of biracials get suckered into that shit because of that dynamic. It's the whole gender war component. When really our whole position is for our mulatto-ness, embracing our heritage from both of our parent groups. That should be what unites us. But what you see with a lot of biracials is, they take the position of the black male or the black female, and and then we get fucked up in the game because of that. So yeah, we get dragged into their gender war. It's very unfortunate. And we need more people on social media pointing this out so we can prevent that from further happening. Unfortunately, black culture has a lot of division, and they influence that dynamic wherever they go. Exactly. Yeah, tribalism is what their specialty is. Right? And they're going to be like, well, Mulatto Vanguard, you're promoting tribalism because you're like light skin and you're a mix and all blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, I'm not. You people have made it clear. I'm not saying all of you. I'm not an absolutist. The ones who know. I have a lot of, black support. Right? The people who understand the reality, the decent, the good people, they understand. I'm not talking about them. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of them who are pretty fucked up and they're anti-mulatto. And I'm not a part of their group. I'm not trying to be their people. I'm not their brother. I'm not. No. I'm not on their side. And like I said, my position now, I'm documenting a lot of this shit. I'm like, look, I got to let it be known because this is for my own protection, my own preservation. Moving forward into the future, I got to make sure I have this stuff logged in. Fuck that. I'm not going to just let this shit slide and just be a mark out here. All the pro whack shit, I learned a lot, man, with that pro whack. They use you mulattoes. A lot of you sucker ass mulattoes, these pro whacks, they use you. They know you people want a tribe, you want a place to call home. They use you. It's pathetic. Those of you who haven't figured it out, it's pathetic. On Netflix, they just added Prison Break to it. The main actor is biracial mulatto male depicted as a white man who's a genius. Yeah, he's a gay guy. And I don't think he's mulatto. He's like a quadroon. He's like a Logic type of guy. Yeah, I know Prison Break. Yeah, that was a popular show when it first aired. I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name. He's depicted as a white guy. He basically kind of is. He's a quadroon. Let me pull up his name right now. I forgot the guy's name. Is Wentworth Miller. I think he's homosexual as well, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's like quadroon guy, right? So he's African descent, not that noticeable. This guy here, Prison Break. Wentworth Miller is his name. Yeah, no, I remember when the show aired, Prison Break. It was kind of popular. It was actually really popular on television, primetime television, when it aired. This is like a while ago, man. Probably like 15 years ago or something. I don't know. But it was actually a pretty popular drama series because he had like I remember it kind of he had like a tattoos on his back, which were like codes to how to get out of the prison. I didn't watch the whole series from like start to finish, but I did watch like several episodes to where it was the story was kind of intriguing. I remember that. Very intricate kind of plot and storyline where he was stuck in prison, but the tattoos he had on his body, they were like clues to how to get the hell out of the damn prison, right? But yeah, he's basically a white guy. Look at him. Okay. Yeah, I think his dad or whatever is like mulatto. So the technical term would be quadroon. Nobody honestly calls himself quadroon in society, okay? So If you do, I mean, I don't see these people calling themselves quadroons or a griff. That's only some grift they can use on the internet to try to hoodwink mixed people to pretend like they're a part of our group when they're not. They're pro-black. So they use that grift shit to try to trick you mixed people. You real mixed people, the ones who embrace your colonizer blood, right? Because you got these grifts who say they got colonizer blood, right? They're pro-black. They're not the same as us, okay? But this guy, yeah. So the whole like the reverse of a griff would be like a quadroon, which that Wentworth Miller guy is, who's depicted as a white guy. Well, he technically is. He's like a white male, Caucasian male with a European admixture. If we can just be honest, like I just shared the image of him. You look at him, it's like, yeah. Shout out to you for that. He's put both white and black Americans have become. I think I read that one already. Kind of going over the same stuff I read. Let's see. Wentworth Miller. Right. When they blame mixed people, they are actually blaming their own fellow North American relatives, which makes them look incredibly stupid. They're showing their own deficiencies with that, right? East Asians like their skin white, but if they stand next to white people, they still don't look the same. White people's skin are nude, peachy undertones, are hardly not white. That's so true. People think that just because East Asian, like pale skin, it means they want to be white. But I work for Pakistani Indians, and they are more than East Asians. I never understood how mixed women can one drop their kids into blackness when they themselves can never pass as a black woman. Yeah, like a Paula Patton, right? Holly Berry, she's what? She's like 50 years old or something. So I think it's a generational nuance. Maybe in Holly Berry, you have to understand, like, I give a lot of leeway because, like, at that time period, man, a lot of these mulattoes, like, they didn't have an option, they have a choice. Like, they just basically were like, there weren't enough mulattoes. They were just like, oh, I guess I'll just be a black, I'll just kind of dance around and make sure the blacks don't get upset with me. I get a position for me now. When I started hearing these like half breed comments and all this, oh, they side with the whites against black people in ancient Egypt and this half breed, I was like, oh, you fucking savages, you're not my fucking people. I started hearing this half breed stuff. I was like, oh, okay, you ain't my fucking people. And I'm looking around me, I'm seeing all these mulattoes. I'm like, okay, well, wait, there's enough of us now. We don't have to deal with these people. There's no rule, there's no law. They're trying to pretend like the one drop rule is still a legal, respectable law. It's not. It's only them who push the one drop rule because they benefit from it. Like, there's no law that says you have to deal with these people. So I started hearing this like half breed shit. I was like, who the fuck are these people talking about? Like, that's they're enemies. They're positioning themselves to be your enemy. That's it. So for me, like, it's a generational thing. Like, I'm a millennial guy, and I look at the younger people. You think I'm bad? Okay. I look at the younger people. They don't have to put up with that crap. I feel like the old, like Halle Berry, her generation, she kind of had to put up with it, right? So I kind of understand. Like, they just didn't have the numbers. There weren't enough of us out here to where they kind of just realized they just wanted to fit in, right? His dad is African American and European mix. Yeah, mulatto. Yeah, so he's like quadroon, right? I'm watching it. I'm on season 4. Like I said, I will admit that it's a very interesting series. I don't know when let me just do a go back to Google search, Prison Break, 2005 to 2017. It says there's 5 seasons of that. It started 2005, so my calculation was kind of correct. 20 years ago or 19 years ago, it aired. I remember it was a while ago when it was on television, prime time. And it was actually a big series at that time. And I watched like several episodes. I didn't watch season 1 to the end. I did watch like several. This is, like I said, guys, it's like 15 plus years ago, 20 years ago, whatever. I was kind of into it because the story was, very intriguing, very intricate and intriguing. So I might have to revisit that whole series, Prison Break, and watch it again. We'll see. But let me finish this off. You put his brother was on death row and he got himself arrested to break his brother out. Yeah, that's the premise of it. Yeah, very interesting take. Yep, yep. You're right. Yeah, I forgot all about that series until you mentioned it. The reason why I call him mixed is because many times when a biracial person has a child with either a black person or white person, those children still come out looking mixed on average. You're right. You're absolutely right. Sage Steele, kind of, yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Typically their children tend to look more mixed. I'm trying to think if there's another example I saw, like Halle Berry's example, even like Mariah Carey. Who else is there? There's other examples. There's a guy, what's his name? He's an MMA fighter. He's Anthony Smith is his name. Anthony Smith. He's biracial identified, and his offspring. Let me see if I can find an image. Here we go. Let me pull this up. Yeah, because his offspring, they look mixed. They look more mixed than him. It's kind of interesting. Just because you mentioned that. Let me share this here. I don't know if you guys can see that image here. Let me see. It'll load up. This is Anthony Smith right here. And he is biracial identified. He identifies as biracial. He looks just like a white guy, right? And you can see the image here. I don't know his whole, like, if one of his dad or mom is mixed and his other parent is white. I don't know. No, I don't know. A lot of these people who are technically quote unquote quadroons, right? They just identify as biracial, like a Logic, the rapper guy or whatever, or like an Andrew Tate kind of guy, because his father, Emery, kind of look mixed. So Andrew Tate, right? But they identify as mixed or biracial. I'm not going to get super technical, but I just don't see these individuals call themselves quadroons. But like you said in your comment here, you look at his offspring, his children, look at their hair texture. Look at how they all got curly hair. Like they look more mixed than him. But like, this is his family. This is his partner. That's him. They're like, how the hell did that happen? They're not adopted. Those are his babies. That's his offspring, right? So we do see that where those genes are basically passed down for sure. Just wanted to kind of point that out. Every now and then you'll see some like Wentworth that look very ambiguous. To me, I forgot who he was, but I still saw that he was something other than white, but I wasn't sure. They were going to make season 6, but he said he doesn't want to play straight characters. Yeah, he's a gay guy. I remember, yeah. Maybe that's why I didn't revisit the whole series. I was like, yeah. I remember he kind of came out, which is, I guess, is liberating for them in Hollywood or whatever to kind of come out, because he played the part of a straight character, but realistically he's homosexual. Whatever, I don't care. But yeah, are the biracial or mulatto identified? I'm not sure. He looks mixed because of his features. His oldest daughter has been in movies. Cool, guys. The link has been dropped. No one's jumping in. It's all good. I'm going to get the hell out of here. I know I hurt some of your guys' feelings. That's fine. Okay, go ahead and tell your friends. Go tell your mommy. Go tell your white mommy, your black mommy. Go share the stream. Okay, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. I don't care. I already know you people. I've been doing this for a minute. Even the haters, they still watch me. It's very weird. I don't like Tariq Nasheed. I don't watch him. But there's people out here who don't like me, but they watch me. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But yeah, that's what's up. That's all I got for you guys this evening. And I'll talk to you guys pretty soon. Make sure you guys post a comment. Tell me what you didn't like about my commentary and what you did like about my commentary. You guys can email me. And yeah, let's keep this thing going. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.